Chapter 708. While Kai County was in a state of panic due to the announcement, a piece of good news came out from various restaurants, and tea houses. Prince Tang wanted to invest in Kai County, and there were several steps to it. First, find a large amount of sesame seeds. When the weather warmed up a few days later, they would be planted in the gaps between the bean fields, or specially clear out a piece of land to plant them. A large mill would be built south of the west bank of Ru River to harvest the sesame seeds and make sesame oil. Second, if there were idle people in the family, they would be able to get 100 chicks at one time. There would be people who would specially guide them to raise the chicks, and they would mainly focus on laying eggs. Feed could be bought from Baoshan County, and a pine flower egg production factory would be built diagonally opposite the sesame oil mill. Third, Shuzhou would provide piglets and disinfection technology. Feed could also be bought from Baoshan County. A pig processing center would be built at the border between Kai County and Baoshan County, and a leather tanning workshop would be set up next to it. Fourth, a fertilizer processing plant would be built near Baoshan County and Kai County to produce better fertilizer for the two counties. The two counties would need to transport rice stalks, wheat stalks, and other useless feces to the plant, and exchange them at a ratio of 4-to-1. The 4 points were spread out one after another. The money for the initial phase did not need to be paid by the people, as long as the technical personnel in charge of following the instructions did it seriously. The factory and workshop would also be ready to start construction in the near future. Feng Changgong also heard about this and felt that Prince Tang was really good. He was willing to help Kai County with the construction. When the time came, more people would be able to earn money. At the same time, it would also attract people from the outside. Wouldn't that make Zhong County a county? The people also thought so. Shuzhou was not too far away from here, and after hearing from the merchants, most of the people knew what Shuzhou was like now. It was a place where people could eat their fill every meal, where they could eat meat if they wanted to, where they could wear good clothes, and where the children could go to school to learn to read. In order to know the situation in time, Old Man Pai and Old Man Yao also sent people to inquire about this news and quickly sent it to Baoshan County to let Old Man Pai and the other two know. Old Man Pai and the other two were also in the tourist area of the model today, but they were not in the mood to explain to others. They were worried that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan would encounter trouble in Xinsai County, so they absent-mindedly looked at the townsfolk and businessmen coming and going, as well as the nearby county officials who had applied for leave to study. Could it be because of that phone guy? Old Man Chang was holding a 9-section whip in his hand. He drank 2 bowls of sour plum soup with ice, but he still felt irritated. He asked Old Man Pai and Old Man Yao, who were squinting their eyes. If he dares, even if he dares, the Yamen runners won't dare. Does he think that Cuckoo's reputation is fake? They should be back tomorrow. At most, they will be delayed on the road, but they can still reach the county the day after tomorrow. Old Man Bai was actually anxious as well. It had been less than 2 days since they last saw each other, but it felt like a long time had passed. He did not know whether he was saying those words for Old Man Zhang to hear or to console himself. Old Man Yao took a large cattail leaf fan from the side and fanned it twice. He also said, "Don't say that they can't beat Xiaobao and Cuckoo. Even if they show signs of fighting, no matter who is protecting them, they are finished. Cuckoo bullies others outside, and when she returns to Tang, she will be bullied by her own people. It's not good to hear. I told you two to send more people over, but you two didn't listen. If something really happens, don't talk about not being able to come back, even if you escape. I want to see if you two still have the face to stay in their house. Don't think about eating good food in the future." Old Man Chang was most uncomfortable with the fact that he did not have any guards. If he wanted to do something, he had to tell Old Man Pie and Old Man Pie. It was inconvenient. While the three old men were expressing their worries in different ways, the people they sent out came back on horseback. Perhaps because they rode too fast, the people who came back staggered a few steps forward before they could steady themselves. They told the three old men what they heard without any personal bias. After listening to the people who came back, the three old men leaned back in their chairs at the same time. They were completely relieved. Old Man Chang reached out to pour himself a sour plum drink. As he added ice, he said, "That person surnamed Feng really doesn't have good intentions. He even dares to put up a notice. Does he really think that the yamen is his?" Xiao Bao and Cuckoo are usually very smart people. Why are they so stupid this time? The other party has already made a move against them, yet they are still kind enough to help the other party. This won't do. Quickly send someone to call those two brats back. Did they drink some bewitching soup? You should eat less ice. If you fall sick, Xiao Bao and Cuckoo will be busy like last time. If you are really thirsty, drink some hot tea. It will cool you down when you sweat. Feng Changgong still has some integrity. It's really hard for him to come up with this plan. Unfortunately, his intentions are not right. For his own personal gain, he put the people at a disadvantage. It's just a small trick. Old Man Pie stopped Old Man Chang and did not let him add more ice. He shook his head and said, "It's just a small trick." After Old Man Yao ordered someone to make some hot tea, he also said, "It really is a small trick. It can't be compared to Xiao Bao and Cuckoo. This time, he will lose miserably. Say it clearly. Why can't I see it?" Old Man Chang reluctantly pushed the sour plum soup back. When someone served the tea, he said with dissatisfaction. He always felt that he could not catch up. Most of the time, he was like a fool and had to be explained by others. You are in charge of martial arts. You don't understand literature. This plan is proposed by Xiao Bao. It kills people without spilling blood. Feng Changgong and the other officials in the county want to promote Xinsai County to an upper county like Sanshui County. They are about to succeed. However, in terms of economy, education, agriculture, industry, and commerce, they are not as good as Sanshui County. Their population is faster. As long as they have one population per county, it is very likely to pass given the current situation of the Tang Empire. Old Man Pie said leisurely. Seeing that Old Man Chang was still at a loss, he continued, "If I hadn't been following Xiao Bao these years and been familiar with him, I wouldn't have guessed what he wants to do. He wants to promote Xinsai County to an upper county right now and make up for what Xinsai County lacks. Yes. Now it's farming and labor. I guess the next step will be education. As for the economy, it's simple. Once the people have a good life and the transportation of Ru River is convenient, it will improve very quickly. Even if the population is not enough, it will be an upper county, and it will be a very prosperous one. Compared to Fanhua County and Jingji County, which are located between the capital and Luoyang, Xinsai County is better. However, the officials in Xinsai County can't take the credit. No matter who it is, they can only give the credit to Li Sun. It won't be long before Xinsai County is promoted, and Feng Changgong will leave his position. How can he stay in such a good place? Naturally, there will be people fighting for it. He can't be the provincial governor, right? Back then, it wasn't easy for Zhang Zhong to be promoted from a county magistrate to a provincial governor. He merged the surrounding counties into a province. Even if he made such a big contribution, he still has to leave and go to Luzhou. Old Man Pie and Old Man Pie had the same thoughts. Old Man Yao added on to Old Man Pie's words. At this moment, the hot tea was served. Old Man Chang did not care about the others. He poured himself a big bowl and gulped it down without fear of the heat. He heaved a sigh of relief and asked, "That's not right. Xiao Bao and Cuckoo are going there to discuss the diversion of the water. They've squeezed out a bunch of people. Do you think the newcomer will agree to it? Can they not agree to it? Look at the few things. The first one is really thinking for the sake of the local people. They can plant sesame seeds in the soybean fields. It's fresh. No, it's definitely not that simple. I don't understand this point at the moment. Let's just talk about the last 3 points. No matter which one it is, they're connecting the 2 counties. If they don't divert the water, are they going to transport them by land? When the people think about this, they'll take the initiative to propose a river so that they can travel more conveniently. This is especially true for transporting feces. It won't be as dirty if they take the water route. Old Man Pai poured himself half a bowl of tea and blew on it gently as he explained to Old Man Chang. When the 3 old men spoke up to this point, a head popped out from behind them. Her little face was filled with curiosity as she asked, "Grandpa Bai, why can't I understand? Are Sister Cuckoo and Brother Xiao Bao really better than that bad guy? When did you arrive, Xiang He? Are you thirsty? Drink a bowl of sour plum soup. Come, Grandpa will tell you. Feng Changgong is that bad guy. He only thinks about his own benefits and doesn't care about the people at all. That's why he resorted to harming others to benefit himself. Such a person deserves to be killed. Your brother Xiao Bao is different. In terms of attacking methods, that bad guy is no match for your brother Xiao Bao. But your brother Xiao Bao won't use such methods on the people of Tang. Even if he wants to use them, your sister Cuckoo won't agree to it. When using tricks to attack the opponent, he doesn't forget to take the people into consideration. This is what it means to care about the people of Tang. Otherwise, your brother Xiao Bao won't have to go through so much trouble to deal with Feng. Oh, that bad guy. If you change countries, you'll know how ruthless your brother Xiao Bao is. To Tang, there's only one word to describe it: kindness is like water. Old Man Pai wanted to carry Luo Xiang over, but found that the weather was too hot. He had to move to the side and let Xiang sit on the armrest. He gave her a bowl of sour plum soup and explained to her. Xiang still didn't quite understand. She took the bowl and thanked him. You mean very powerful, right? Xiang knows what kindness is like water. Sister Cuckoo taught Xiang a few days ago. Kindness is like water. Water benefits all things but doesn't compete. It's good for people's evil, so it's similar to the Tao. A man doesn't compete, so he doesn't care. Sister also said that Brother Xiao Bao is like water, but it's not the Yellow River. It's the sea. It surges when it's calm. When it's good, it breeds all things. When it's evil, it turns the world upside down. Is the sea very powerful? Can it be compared to Brother Xiao Bao? It's equally powerful. What else could Old Man Pai say? Wang Wan had already given her evaluation. The 2 of them were usually smiling, but once they fought, it was truly earth-shattering. Then I'll learn it well too. In the future, I'll be like Brother Xiao Bao and Sister Cuckoo. Let's see who dares to provoke me. I'll throw him into the sea to feed the fish and breed all things. Kindness, I'm kindness, the kind that's like water. Xiang understood it very deeply. Hearing Xiang words, Old Man Pai and the others began to worry for Xiao Bei. Xiao Bao and Cuckoo's education methods seemed to be different from what they had imagined. Old Man Yao sighed helplessly. He said to the person beside him who was waiting for orders, "Go and tell the people from the Zhang family and Wang family about this. They'll know what to do." Chapter 709. The warm summer breeze blew gently, and traces of green were reflected in the blue waves. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't plan to go back to Kai County for the time being. They wanted to organize the preliminary work in the county so that it would be easier for others to take over after they had laid down a good foundation. As for whether they would be absent from work, they weren't worried at all. They had applied for 3 days of leave, 2 days of leave for this month, and 10 days of sick leave after 5 days. In total, they could stay outside for half a month. Of course, they didn't say anything. They wanted to show their faces more often. It would be best if Feng Changgong found out and wrote an impeachment report. Even if it couldn't do anything to him, it would at least make him feel disgusted. On the 3rd day after they arrived in Kai County, they went to the Ru River and found a spot on the shore. They sat there and watched an old man fishing. The water was urgent, so there were no floats. The old man brought 3 fishing poles and a few lead stumps with many hooks. He hung live bait on the hooks one by one, then threw it into the water with a whoosh. He straightened the line and set the poles on a rock to complete the task. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't say anything. They just watched. It was hard for others to know what they were thinking. The old man wore a bamboo hat on his head. He was probably afraid of being dazed by the sun. When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan came over, he glanced at them. Seeing that their clothes weren't made of hemp, he couldn't guess their family situation. However, judging from their expressions, he felt that they weren't from an ordinary family, so he didn't take the initiative to talk to them. There were boats passing by the river from time to time. Fortunately, the hook the old man said wasn't too far from the shore, so it wasn't caught by the boats. He must have taken this into consideration. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan stayed there for an hour. From time to time, Zhang Xiaobao would stand up and take out a monocular from Wang Wan's pocket to look around. Wang Wan, on the other hand, had a hard straw stick in her hand and occasionally drew on the ground. The old man's luck was pretty good today. Within half an hour, he had caught more than a dozen fish. Among them, there were even 3 that weighed more than 2 catties. The 3 of them were always sitting there silently, so the old man couldn't help but glance at the 2 older children every once in a while. Suddenly, he felt that something was wrong. In the past, when the children saw him catch fish, they would shout happily. When he left, he would give the children a few fish. Everyone didn't come in vain. These 2 were strange today. Why weren't they like other people? When he caught a fish, he just glanced at it and continued to sit there. Just now, the 2 children might have been hot, so they pulled a lot of grass from the side and weaved it into a big hat to cover their heads. If he didn't look carefully, he wouldn't have noticed that there were 2 people here. The fishing rod trembled violently twice, and the old man quickly pulled the line. This time, he caught a fish that weighed about 3 catties. The old man happily said to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, "Children, do you want to eat fish? When you leave, bring a big one home." Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were still busy with their own things. When they heard the old man speak, they turned their heads at the same time and saw a catfish. Wang Wan glanced at Zhang Xiaobao and then said to the old man, "Grandpa, this is the one in your hand. Xiaobao and I bought it. We'll braise it when we get back." The old man didn't want to give the big one. It was more difficult to catch catfish with the rod today. Although it was big, the one in his hand was much smaller than the real big ones in the river. If he encountered that kind of catfish, he wouldn't be able to catch it at all. He wanted to keep it for one night and sell it tomorrow. Seeing that the 2 of them wanted to buy it now, he hesitated for a moment and said, "There's no need for money. Take it and eat it. The 2 of you are quite good-looking." Hee, it's not easy to accompany this old man for so long. "Thank you, Grandpa." Wang Wan didn't refuse. It was just a fish. When the factory and workshop were repaired, they would find someone to keep watch at night. At that time, many old men with nothing to do would have leisurely jobs. She would arrange a good one for this old man. When the old man heard Wang Wan's voice, he nodded happily and said, "Then I'll put it in the net first. When I leave, I'll take it. The two of you are good kids. Grandpa is also a good person. Good people will be rewarded." "Grandpa, are there many catfish in the water?" Wang Wan also replied. "Yes, there are big ones. If I really encounter a big one, I have to throw the rod. I don't dare to pull it up. If I drag people in, they will disappear. There are also Korean fish." The old man was willing to listen to Wang Wan's crisp voice when she spoke, so he said with a smile. Wang Wan thought for a moment and said, "Grandpa, are there many idle people in your house? Why don't you dig a pond and catch Korean fish? The fish are delicious and you can make a lot of money. There are many fish in the river. Why should I raise them? I just have nothing to do, so I catch a few fish and exchange them for money to buy candies for my grandson. If there are more fish, I will take them back and stew them." When the old man talked about his grandson, the wrinkles on his face piled up together, making him look very kind. Wang Wan understood that the old man's family was living a good life, so she stopped persuading the old man to raise fish. There were many fish in the river, but it was not as comfortable as raising fish. He could catch fish whenever he wanted. In this way, the old man might not be able to keep watch at night. Wang Wan suggested again, "Grandpa, why don't you build a house nearby? Maybe it will be useful in the future." "That can't be done. I heard that a workshop is going to be built here. Don't occupy other people's place." The old man knew a lot. He didn't know that Wang Wan just wanted him to cook some dishes for the people in the workshop after building the house and make more money. Seeing that the old man didn't agree, Wang Wan didn't continue to persuade him. She lowered her head and continued to draw. Perhaps it was true to Wang Wan's words. The old man's 3 fishing rods caught the fish one by one. After a while, the net that was put into the water to hold the fish was full. There were at least 50 caddies of fish in the net, and the fish were squeezing each other and flipping back and forth. Just as the old man was thinking about how to go back and catch a big fish for Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, a group of people came to the shore. There were carriages and horses. After they stopped at the shore, 3 people in government uniforms surrounded by people in government uniforms walked to the front. "Sir, what do you think of this place? Let His Royal Highness set up the workshop here," one of the officials asked while bowing beside the surrounded officials. "Well, not bad. That's what I want." "Ha! There are a lot of fish. Why don't we eat fish today? Don't go too far. Find 2 pots in the house nearby and stew the fish and water." The surrounded official glanced at the place and felt that it was a good place to build the workshop. When he saw the old man struggling to pull the net up, he wanted to eat fish. Hearing the official's words, the old man looked again and quickly bowed his head. "County Magistrate Feng is here." "County Magistrate Feng, you can't build the workshop here. There are holes in the ground. If it rains heavily today, it will collapse easily. You have to choose a good place to build the workshop. What do you know? Do you know cement? No matter what holes there are, just pour the cement in. Leave the fish here. Take the money and buy some meat buns and dumplings." A government official next to him was dissatisfied with the old man. He took out more than 20 copper coins and threw them on the ground. He wanted to buy all the fish and reached out to take the fish. The old man was obviously unwilling. He didn't dare to say anything, but his hands were very tight. It was not only the fish, but also the net. It would take more than a day to make a net. It was not easy to make twine. While they were in a stalemate, a voice suddenly rang out. It almost scared County Magistrate Fong into the river. "Old Grandpa, he wants to buy a fish. Just sell it to him." I didn't expect County Magistrate Fong to be in the mood to eat fresh water and live fish by the river. This is the Southwest. Aren't you worried that something might happen and you might lose your life? What's the crime of buying by force, Xiao Bao? As he spoke, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan stood up with their straw hats on. County Magistrate Fong stepped back and stood still. Only then did he take a closer look at the person who had suddenly appeared. At first glance, his good mood was gone. Zhang Xiaobao said, "I think it's a capital offense. At the very least, he should be sent to Lingnan." When I'm in Luzhou, I'm kind. Give it to him now." Feng Changgong was not in the mood to listen to Zhang Xiaobao's nonsense. He shouted at the Yamen runner who was still holding the fishing net tightly. It was not a big deal if the two of them were to impeach him. It was not that the Yamen runner did not recognize Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. It was because he knew who they were that he was so scared that he forgot that he was still holding the net. When he heard the county magistrate's voice, he quickly let go of the net. He was so fast that it was as if what he was holding was not a net but a burning iron wire. As he stepped back, he stared at Wang Wan to see if Wang Wan would laugh or not. He would rather believe it than not. The old man was surprised. "Wow, these two kids are awesome." They scared County Magistrate Fong with one sentence each. "Who are they?" "Oh, it's Registrar Zhang and County Deputy Wang. You two are in a good mood. You ran to the riverside to hide and scare people. Just now, you didn't buy by force. Instead, you asked someone to help me carry the fish." Feng Changgong still felt that his heart was beating fast. He said to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan indignantly. Wang Wan did not care about his indignation. She trotted to the place where the Yamen runner threw the money. She bent down and picked them up one by one. She waved at Zhang Xiaobao and said, "Xiaobao, money. I don't know who dropped it. Buy some meat and make some dumplings later. Then we have to ask who dropped it by accident first. What if the owner is right next to us? Who dropped it? Who dropped the money?" No one said yes. "Take it." Zhang Xiaobao had a good understanding of the terrain today. He was very happy and played along with Wang Wan. The old man finally knew who the two kids were. They were the new Registrar Zhang and Deputy Wang Wan of Baoxin County, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. No wonder they looked different from ordinary kids. He did not care about the fish anymore and said to them hurriedly, "Xiaobao, Cuckoo, you can't build a workshop here. I heard that you have a good relationship with the commandery prince. Tell him that you can't build a workshop here." Wang Wan smiled at the Yamen runner who threw the money just now. She put the money away and asked the old man, "Grandpa, are you familiar with this place?" "Yes, I'm familiar with it. This place is unusual. I don't have other skills, but I can see the earth chi." The old man finally met someone who he thought could compete with County Magistrate Fong. He immediately patted his chest and promised. Earth chi. Wang Wan did not expect to meet a master who had a legendary skill. But many people still believed in it. It was said that some minds were not measured by instruments, but by people. Even the officials at that time also believed in it. Chapter 710. Hearing Wang Wan's last question, Feng Changgong didn't say anything. He knew who Tang and County would listen to. He didn't say anything, but Wang Wan didn't want to let it go. She said worriedly, "Oh, County Magistrate Feng, you are the County Magistrate here. Don't tell me you don't want others to come here to build the workshop. Without the workshop, don't transport things from Baoxin County. If you don't transport things, you don't need to draw the river. If Feng Changgong hadn't heard Wang Wan mention this today, he might not have thought that building the workshop was to draw the river. These 2 days, he had been thinking about how to scheme against Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. At this time, after being reminded by Wang Wan, he started to think, should I stop it? As soon as the idea appeared, it was ruthlessly extinguished by himself. That was absolutely impossible. It was no different from courting death. If he really did it, not to mention others, even the backer behind him would not be reliable. If things went wrong, he would be the first to be punished. On purpose, Wang Wan did it on purpose. Feng Changgong thought. When he looked at Wang Wan again, Wei Wei smiled and said, County Magistrate Wang, you have a good idea. Unfortunately, I didn't say anything about not drawing the river to Baoxin County. If you have the ability, you can do it. Then I'll let you see. I'm going to draw the river. Wang Wan looked like she was angry. Feng Changgong was not in the mood to eat fish by the river. He snorted and turned to leave. He parted with Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan on bad terms. After Feng Changgong left with his people, the old man understood that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't get along well with County Magistrate Feng. It seemed that they were enemies. Miss Wang, this County Magistrate Feng is not simple. There were people from the state government who wanted to deal with him, but they were dealt with by him. You must be careful. The old man reminded Wang Wan kindly. I know. Thank you, Grandpa. Would Grandpa be willing to take a look at this place? Wang Wan really didn't inquire about Feng Changgong in detail, because he was not famous. She had never heard of this name, so naturally, he was ranked in the list of people who did not pay attention to him. The old man did not hesitate this time. He nodded and said, Okay, you can find me when the time comes. I live in the county, behind the Xingrong Rice Company. My surname is Liu. You can ask around and you will know who I am. I'm the fishing old man Liu. Hee hee. After speaking, the old man was ready to leave. However, he had caught too many fish today, so it was very strenuous for him. Wang Wan waved at the bushes not far away. Suddenly, 2 people appeared, startling the old man. He didn't know that there were people hiding in the bushes. Take me home and let me know the place. Wang Wan ordered. The 2 people helped the old man lift the fish. The old man didn't forget to give Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan the fish that weighed more than 3 kilograms. He talked with the 2 guards all the way back. It was estimated that he would arrive home at around 5 in the afternoon. After the old man left, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not intend to continue to look at the terrain. They looked at each other and walked to a house nearby. They planned to borrow the kitchen to cook the fish and buy some other things. They would have a meal at noon. The guards would find something to eat by themselves, so they didn't need to worry about it. Maybe it was because the fish was really delicious, or maybe it was because they hadn't eaten such a simple braised fish for a long time. They missed it. Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao both felt that it was delicious. They also invited the 4 people of the house to eat together. They also bought 2 dishes with the copper coins they robbed. The 6 people were very happy. The woman of the house who ate kept praising Zhang Xiaobao's cooking skills. She didn't forget to tell Wang Wan that she should cook more in the future. She couldn't let a man cook, so it was okay to eat occasionally. Xiaobao, I don't think Feng Changgong can stop Li Sun. On the way back, Wang Wan said to Zhang Xiaobao. Do you really think he is stupid? I guess he is thinking about how to take credit. It's useless. When we go back, I will go to the official post and enter the capital. Zhang Xiaobao didn't expect Feng Changgong to do anything. If he did, it would save a lot of trouble. Then we have to deal with his plan now. It is very useful. Nowadays, people need to use curses to cure diseases. Everyone believes it. It is not easy to change. Wang Wan thought that Feng Changgong's plan was difficult to break. When Feng Changgong found a Taoist priest to pretend, the people would be more convinced. Zhang Xiaobao said disapprovingly, "Don't forget what I do. There is a saying that the best way to deal with cavalry is to use cavalry. We can do the same. We can play better than him. For example, we can find a piece of oil paper in the fish's stomach with words on it. There are many ways. Go back and help me think about a few. You are so bad. Okay, let's do it. Come up with more tricks to scare people." Wang Wan had a plan in her heart. She felt that it was a very interesting thing. When they returned to the county, Zhang Xiaobao began to write a letter. He asked someone to take it back and stamped it. It was sent to the capital through official channels. This time, it was not a private letter. They had to go through official channels. Otherwise, they would not be able to achieve their goal. Before Li Sun knew anything, many people came to Aksayan Kai County and started to work according to the storyteller's instructions. The commoners were ready. It was the same as Royal Prince Anne's investment. Those who planted soybeans were given sesame seeds. Those who had free time at home were given chicks and piglets. The craftsmen also gathered by the river and waited for orders to start work. Feng Changgong was also busy these days. He went to the riverside every day to check on the progress of the project. He also said a few words of encouragement. It was as if he was the reason why Prince Tang and was able to invest in the project. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not return to the county. They stayed by the riverside with Old Man Lu. They checked on the qi in the morning and at night. They also explained the mysteries of the project to Zhang Xiaobao and Old Man Lu. The two did not understand, probably because they were not talented enough. On the 9th day of work at Ru River, the most important person in Aksayan Kai County, Li Sun, arrived. Li Sun did not take a boat. Instead, he rode a horse. He raised pigeons in Suzhou. Last month, he asked someone to send them to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan in Baoxin County. He said that they should contact each other if anything happened. He could not just leave. He was preparing to go back to the capital for a blind date. He did not know what kind of people he found. He would go and take a look. If they were not good enough, he would look for Zhang Xiaobao to discuss countermeasures. When the news spread that he was going to invest in Aksayan Kai County, Zhang Xiaobao sent him a letter with a pigeon. He was eager and did not want to stay in Suzhou any longer. He used this as an excuse to come here. He even brought 600 guards with him and appeared at the riverside of Ru River. It was noon when he arrived. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan ate with the others at the construction site. As usual, those who worked were given good food and drinks. Yesterday, they ate 2 dishes and a soup. Today, there was only 1 soup. The main dish was put together with the dishes. There was meat, bread and mutton, and the soup was fish soup. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan put the lean meat into the bread. They could not help but tremble when they saw others put a large piece of mutton oil into the bread. When Li Sun arrived, the two had just eaten a few mouthfuls. They did not drink the soup. They tasted it. It was said that mutton and fish tasted better together, but the two did not feel it. They only felt that it was fishy. It was not good to put more chopped green onions and coriander. Meat bread. Good, give me 1. Don't put coriander, put more chopped green onions. I haven't eaten it in a long time. Eat it yourselves. Don't wait for someone to serve you. Li Sun's arrival surprised the others, but it did not move Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. The two were still eating when Li Sun came forward and gave orders to the cook who was in charge of serving people. He also shouted to the 600 people he brought with him. With the sudden addition of 600 people, the cook had no choice but to cook immediately. These were the county king's people. If it were the cooks of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family, they would not be so nervous. They used to see each other all the time. The cook here was found locally. When he saw Li Sun, he excitedly stuffed a large piece of mutton oil, chopped green onions, and coriander into his hands. Li Sun politely received it and turned around to give it to his bodyguard. "You eat it. It's nutritious. Don't hover in front of me. Xiao Bao and Cuckoo are here." After giving orders to the bodyguard, Li Sun had to do it himself. He lamented that the cook that Kai County found at the last minute was not as good as the professional cooks of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family. "Eat some salted vegetables?" Zhang Xiaobao pushed the only plate of salted vegetables in front of him and Wang Wan to Li Sun. They were all acquaintances, so there was no need to be so polite. "Yes, let's eat." After taking a bite of the biscuit, Li Sun saw that there were no salted vegetables in front of others. He knew that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had brought them here themselves. They must be good. Perhaps they were made by Zhang Xiaobao himself. He had not tasted them for several months. The news of Li Sun's arrival spread quickly. The people asked around. When they found out that Tang and County King was also eating with the people at the construction site, they liked Li Sun even more. After finishing the rujiamo, Li Sun was not afraid of the fish. He drank more than half of the fish soup. When he was making another rujiamo, he said to Zhang Xiaobao, "You're using my name to do things. Aren't you afraid that you'll implicate me? There's no donkey rujiamo here. Why did the donkey rujiamo you treated me to last time taste better than the mutton today? I don't want to implicate you. I won't use your name for nothing. I'll give you a share. When the weather gets hotter, you'll have a business there. Help me advertise the braised pork with preserved vegetables. I only want 10% of the shares. The donkey rujiamo you ate last time was made by me. The mutton today was made by a local cook. I want to eat donkey meat, but I'm afraid that there are not enough donkeys in the county. The people who have donkeys will fight with me. If you can kill a few cows, I'll give the people at the construction site braised beef tomorrow." While Zhang Xiaobao was talking, Wang Wan took out 2 tinned cans of pickles from her bag. She pointed to one of them and said to Li Sun, "These are beans made from beans with preserved vegetables. These are the beans made with preserved vegetables. There are diced beef inside. I didn't deliberately kill a strong cow, and I didn't want to do that. It's also not an old cow that has been plowing for a lifetime. Try it. The other one is a can. I asked someone to send it to you. This is the can of preserved vegetables and meat that you want to make." Li Sun didn't wait for Wang Wan to help him and started by himself. He first opened the can and sniffed it carefully before nodding. "It smells good. Last time, you gave me 300 cans, and I ate more than 10 of them myself. As for the rest, I gave most of them to the guards who trained well. You didn't give me more. That's 300 cans of pig knuckles. It's a large quantity and not fake. 2 pig knuckles can make 4 cans. Next time, you send me 1,000 pigs, and I'll return you 5,000 cans. Did you write the booklet I asked you to write?" Zhang Xiaobao did not lie. The cans he sent were really pig knuckles. Although they were not small, once they were made into cans, they were very useless meat. There was not much good meat. If water was squeezed tight, they would turn into small balls. This was a real, military product. I wrote it. 5,000 pigs, no problem. You can't imagine how many poultry and livestock there are in Suzhou now. The people are really good at raising them. They even say that I'm a good county prince and give me gifts. I can't even eat them. I've made all the leftover pork into cured meat. The chickens are also dried. Next time, the people will send them again during festivals. I'll give you half. The cans are bigger, 5,000 is fine too. I don't care. The people also asked about your house and said that they wanted to bring something over to take a look. I persuaded them not to. The people of Wangjiang built a big house for you by the river. It's 4 stories, made of wood. It's big at the bottom and small at the top. It's called the Blood Grace Pavilion. I think if I go there and say a few bad things about Wang Wan, the people will rush over and beat me up. They are so jealous of me. What do you think the official looks like? I haven't even seen him before and I'm helping you. Tell me, how are you going to compensate me? Li Sun finally did not have to be his own county prince. He was very relaxed in front of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. He talked endlessly with excitement. It was noon in Xinsai. It was also noon in the capital. The officials were also eating, but some people were not in a good mood today. They did not have an appetite for anything. 2 people were the most obvious. One was Zhang Juling, and the other was Zhang Shuo. Zhang Xiaobao's memorial had been delivered. It arrived today. The official relay station was slow, far slower than the pigeons. Zhang Juling had seen the memorial, and so had Zhang Shuo. Going through the proper channels, it was difficult for Zhang Shuo not to see it. This was the first time Zhang Xiaobao had submitted a memorial as an official. Everyone was very curious. Just what was it that caused Zhang Xiaobao to not send pigeons? In the end, when they read the memorial, it was Zhang Xiaobao explaining the alliance between Xinsai County and Baoxin County. An alliance was not a big deal. Any official who could come into contact with it found it very normal. If they wanted to connect, they could connect. The Zhang family and Wang family were very capable. They could build up a good place wherever they went. It was already good enough that they could bring Xinsai County. However, the main point of the memorial was not the alliance. It was to help promote Xinsai County from a middle county to a county. However, it did not write a letter to the province and insisted on going directly to the capital. It praised Feng Changgong and the other officials of Xinsai County, saying that they were rare in the world. It said that during the alliance, the officials of Xinsai County had helped a lot. Furthermore, they were all very capable. It meant that they should be promoted. Such people could not continue to stay in a county, unlike himself and Cuckoo. They were still young and needed more training. If County Magistrate Feng continued to train, he would be old. This was considered normal. Although the officials did not know how capable Feng Changgong was, they did not want Zhang Xiaobao to praise him. However, since Zhang Xiaobao said that it was okay, then it was okay to mention it. However, there was another sentence at the end. It said that the capital should investigate County Magistrate Feng more. This was because many people were good at being officials. Once they were in a different position, it was easy for them to change. In terms of literature, if they felt that he was good, they could also investigate him specifically. The officials also understood this matter. They were afraid of taking responsibility. What if he was not good enough? Investigations were necessary. However, the last sentence made everyone unable to guess Zhang Xiaobao's purpose. Since the memorial mentioned that the main officials in the county should be promoted and given more responsibilities, then there should be new officials. Originally, this matter had nothing to do with Zhang Xiaobao. The appointment of new officials was the Ministry of Personnel's matter. However, Zhang Xiaobao nominated 6 people and said that 3 of them could be chosen. For other officials, it was as if they did not know that Zhang Xiaobao had overstepped his authority. The Zhang family had done many things that exceeded their authority. If they really wanted to investigate, they would not be able to find out. However, for Zhang Xiaobao, it was different. This was because the 6 people that Zhang Xiaobao mentioned were all Yu Wenrong's people. To be honest, they were not bad. They were the kind of people who could really do things. The problem was that Yu Wenrong and Zhang Shuo did not see eye to eye. Although Zhang Shuo was the prime minister, he could not control Yu Wenrong. When Yu Wenrong went out to do things, he did not have to go through the imperial secretariat. Later on, Zhang Shuo set up a special organization to control Yu Wenrong. However, Yu Wenrong was still not obedient. He belonged to the kind of people who were practical. He was the opposite of Zhang Shuo's people who were knowledgeable. Zhang Jiuling worked under Zhang Shuo and was more obedient. He was worried. His retired housekeeper was still in someone else's house. It was not good for him to help anyone. Moreover, the Zhang family had helped him a lot. He was in a dilemma. Therefore, when he ate, he felt that the food was tasteless. There was no need to mention Zhang Shuo. Last time, he sent a name list and specifically mentioned Feng Chan. This time, he actually gave an official position in a good place to Yu Wenrong. Zhang Shuo really wanted to personally go over and ask, which side is your family on? If you say you're on the scholarly side, that's right, you're the top scorer in the imperial examinations. Even the servants in your family are literate and literate. If you say you're on the practical side, you've accumulated a lot of political achievements, all of which are local. He should not be on either side, but he actually came to find trouble at this time. Could it be that they found out about his conversation with the emperor last time? Thinking of this, Zhang Shuo lost his appetite. He was angry and anxious at the same time. He was angry that Zhang Xiaobao did not mention his people. He was anxious because if this memorial was passed, wouldn't that mean that he would lose a good spot? That place was the same as Luzhou. It was specially used for officials to be promoted. As long as the officials there were not stupid and followed the original plan, they would be promoted in less than 2 years. If he sent 3 of his people there, it would be faster to promote and more convenient to use in the future. What should I do? Suppress it? No, I can suppress the memorial, but I can't suppress the pigeons. Zishou, what do you think I should do? Zhang Shuo muttered. He could not think of a good idea, so he turned to ask Zhang Jiuling. What he was afraid of had come true. Zhang Jiuling was worried that Zhang Shuo would ask him. He could not side with anyone. Who paid for the road? Who was the one who bought the preserved vegetables? Who gave him many things in his house? Who helped him come up with some ideas? Everything pointed to the Zhang family. However, Zhang Shuo was not unkind to him. Without Zhang Shuo, he would not have his current position. How should he explain this? Zhang Jiuling chewed the vegetables vigorously. He wanted Zhang Shuo to wait for a while. He wanted to use this time to think about it. The vegetables were not old, so he could not keep chewing. After chewing for a while, Zhang Jiuling swallowed the vegetables with difficulty. He met Zhang Shuo's expectant gaze and said, "Let Lord Zhang make the decision. It would be better if the name list was changed. However, that place seems to be a little chaotic, and many parties will interfere. Especially Yu Wenrong, the current person is his. If Feng Changgong really rises up like this, it means that his people are very capable. Even if he wants to send someone else, he should send his people, unless..." Zhang Jiuling did not finish his sentence, but his meaning was very clear. Zhang Shuo thought the same. He nodded and said, "Then let's do it this way. Let Feng Changgong and the other 2 enter the capital for the examination. As for the other 6 candidates, we'll discuss it again when Xankai County is promoted to an upper county." Just as Zhang Shuo made the decision, someone outside brought in a letter from Li Sun. Zhang Shuo was very worried that Li Sun and Zhang Xiaobao would stand together to deal with him. He did not eat and hurried over to take a look. Zhang Juling followed behind. After Zhang Shuo opened the letter and read the contents, he suddenly laughed heartily. Ha ha ha, good, good, good. Zishou, come and take a look. Prince Tong An's new letter said that he heard that Feng Changgong had made many mistakes when doing things in the county. He was worried that the money he took out could not be used properly. He wanted the court to think of a solution. It would be best if they could change the official. Zhang Juling did not need to read the letter. He understood from Zhang Shuo that Li Sun could not promote officials by himself. If he had not been with Zhang Xiaobao and the Wang family, he could not even follow them to Idyll, let alone do business together. If he felt that something was not right, he could impeach, but he could not appoint. He was here to ask for help. The situation seemed to be very favorable to him, but why did he feel that something was not right? Zhang Xiaobao and Li Sun were so close. Did they not inform each other before? One wanted to promote, the other wanted to suppress. It was a mess. It felt like when Xiaobao and Cuckoo were in Idyll. Whether it was war or economic war, it gave people the feeling that it was a mess. Only when the dust finally settled did they know the layout of the two people. Zhang Shuo did not wait for Zhang Juling to say anything. He happily put away the letter and turned to walk out. Let's go and eat. I didn't eat enough just now and I'm hungry again. Zhang Juling thought to himself, you didn't eat enough, right? I only ate 2 mouthfuls. Now my stomach is still uncomfortable. I don't feel good. He followed him out. However, he could not erase the 2 things he learned today. Or rather, it was the same thing. Something seemed wrong. Chapter 7:11. In fact, Feng Changgong didn't want to come. He knew the relationship between Zhang Xiaobao, Wang Wan, and Li Sun. If he went there, he would definitely be treated coldly. If things went wrong, he might even be taught a lesson by Li Sun. However, Feng Changgong still came. If the person who came was not Li Sun, but Li Sun's other brothers of similar status, Feng Changgong could refuse to see him. He had neither money nor power, so he couldn't do anything to him. Li Sun was an exception. He had a lot of money and power. Other people only had the title of Commandery Prince, but they didn't need to go to the place. Every year, they would receive a portion of the tax there. Naturally, they were good officials in management. However, Li Sun of Shuzhou really did become a commandery prince. The local officials all had to listen to him. He had a lot of power in his hands, and he did have some ability. Even if he returned to Tang and county and managed it himself, he didn't make any mistakes. He trained soldiers for Shuzhou and organized them well. He even formed 3,000 Tumbling Waves army and trained them every day at Lake Tai. He was also diligent and serious in government affairs. He often proposed small policies that would benefit the people. He would find a group of officials to sit together and discuss. He would perfect the details and bring real benefits to the people. It was too easy for such a person to find trouble with a local official. If he didn't meet them, he would feel that someone was disrespectful to him. He would turn around and complain, and his future would be ruined. Feng Changgong, who didn't know that Li Sun had already made a move against him, brought people to the riverside. He felt very uncomfortable when he saw that the number of ferries on the river had increased instead of decreased. No matter how frightening the Yaman's announcement was, the number of ferries was still increasing, and the construction was not affected. For a better life, the people chose to temporarily forget about the Yaman's announcement. When he was about 50 steps away from Li Sun, Feng Changgong saw 3 people sitting together and laughing. There were no guards within 20 steps of them. It was obvious how much Li Sun trusted Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Taking 2 deep breaths, Feng Changgong signaled the others not to follow and walked over alone. Li Sun also happened to hear Zhang Xiaobao's words. He raised his head and looked in the direction that Zhang Xiaobao was pointing at. This official, Feng Changgong, greets your Royal Highness. Is your Royal Highness tired after rushing all the way here? This lowly official will prepare a place for your Highness to rest in the county. Feng Changgong had finally finished walking this long road and bowed to salute. County Magistrate Feng, you actually came to see me in person. Take a seat. It's tiring to travel, but I feel much better after eating 2 rujiamos. County Magistrate Feng, have you had lunch? If you want to eat but don't have time, why don't you sit down and eat? Li Sun was not as cold as Feng Changgong had imagined. Instead, he was very enthusiastic. This was what Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had taught him. As an official, as long as he did not encounter a disaster or punish an official who made a mistake, he should not always keep a straight face. If he could not be sincere, he should become a professional. Li Shi had learned well, especially when he was facing the people. His smile came from the bottom of his heart. He liked the feeling of being thanked and respected by others. He was willing to help the people live a good life through his own efforts. This was also a reflection of one's ability. Yes, it was called realizing one's self-worth. Now, when facing Feng Changgong, his smile was a bit professional, but others could not see it. He warmly pulled Feng Changgong to sit next to him and asked someone to bring 2 rujiamos and a bowl of fish soup. He also pushed 2 delicious pickles and his leftover canned food in front of Feng Changgong and invited him to eat. Feng Changgong was stunned by Li Sun's enthusiasm. He was pressed to the stool in a daze until someone brought the food over. He looked at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, then looked at Li Sun and the rujiamos. He reluctantly picked one up and chewed it in his mouth, frowning slightly. It was not delicious at all. It was greasy and hard to swallow. He had never eaten this kind of thing before. Seeing that Li Sun was still looking at him, he had to eat it. He had no choice but to drink the soup. He wanted to use the soup to wash it down, but as soon as he drank it, a strong fishy taste filled his mouth. With a puff, Feng Changgong could not bear it and spat out the food right in front of Zhang Xiaobao. At this time, Zhang Xiaobao finally showed his true ability. When he stared at Feng Changgong and saw that Feng Changgong was about to spit out, he slapped the table in front of him and jumped up. When his feet were 4 feet off the ground, he did a horizontal split. Then he somersaulted in the air and landed back. After sitting down, he stared at Feng Changgong and asked, "County Magistrate Feng, do you think you can't eat this kind of thing?" After coughing a few times, Feng Changgong waved his hand and said, "No, I just choked. I was just thinking about how to make the people under my rule eat this kind of food on a daily basis." "Are you all right, Registrar Zhang?" Feng Changgong coughed because he was shocked by Xiaobao's actions. Xiaobao's reaction was too fast. In the blink of an eye, Xiaobao had done that set of actions and avoided the thing that he had spat out. Feng Changgong then looked at Wang Wan, who had also dodged and returned to her original position. Feng Changgong finally understood why Li Sun did not arrange for bodyguards nearby. It was impossible for a normal person to come over in large numbers. If someone like him came over and really wanted to harm Li Sun, he reckoned that before he could finish his assassination, he would first fall. This was because he saw Zhang Xiaobao slowly returning the throwing knife that he had taken out earlier to his waist. Wang Wan knew why Feng Changgong spit it out. She and Xiaobao just tried to swallow a little bit, not to mention Feng Changgong drank a big mouthful. But she was not going to let Feng Changgong go. She said, "County Magistrate Feng is also wholeheartedly serving the people. You must eat more and take care of your body so that you can do more things for the people. That's right. County Magistrate Feng, please. Li Sun agreed. He really did not know that it was because of the smell. He ate quite well. Feng Changgong's expression was very interesting, as if he was going to the execution ground. He nodded and saw that there was a bowl of coriander and a bowl of chopped green onions on the table. He grabbed a lot of them and stuffed them into the cake and soup. He smacked his lips twice, and with a red face, he took a bite of the cake and drank a mouthful of soup. He did not let his nose breathe out and swallowed hard. He quickly picked up some salted vegetables. He endured this mouthful and did not dare to breathe for a long time. After a while, he let out a long breath and said, "Delicious, very delicious." He moved his tongue again and stared at the two small salted vegetables. Suddenly, his eyes lit up. He recalled the taste and used his chopsticks to pick up the can. After eating, he looked at Li Sun and asked, "Your Royal Highness, did you bring these salted vegetables and the things in the iron box?" "It's delicious." Li Sun thought in his heart that this was nonsense. The salted vegetables were made by Xiao Bao for Cuckoo, and the canned food was specially prepared by Zhang family and Wang family because they were afraid that people who went out to do work would eat too much. How could it not be delicious? County Magistrate Feng, you are wrong. These things are all from Xiao Bao and Cuckoo's family. I am not capable of making them. Try more of the beans and canned food cooked with salted vegetables. When you want to eat them, you can go to Tang Prefecture. I will give you a 20% discount. That is, I will charge you 80% of the price. As we agreed, you must go. As long as you are in Shuzhou, no matter where and what you eat, I will give you a 20% discount. Xiao Bao, lend me a charcoal pencil. Li Sun said and stretched out his hand to Zhang Xiaobao. Wang Wan took out a pen and paper from her bag. Swish. 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 He finished writing a receipt for the discount, signed it, and handed it to Feng Changgong with a sincere smile on his face. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan couldn't help but nod. It seemed that they needed to print some business cards for Li Sun in the future, the cheap ones. After all, a name card was too expensive and represented different meanings. It seemed that Li Sun had learned the essence of doing business and had developed. Feng Changgong took the sales promotion paper in a daze, thinking about how much he would have to spend if he went there. County Magistrate Feng, in addition to these two things, there will be more dishes, sightseeing, bathing, and fitness. If you can find other officials, family members, and friends, I can give you a group purchase price and take you to watch part of the military exercises of the tumultuous Wave Army in Lake Tai. The discount is 50%. It seemed that Li Sun was determined to make this deal happen. He was so persistent. He originally wanted to say that if there were many people, he could give them a commission. However, after thinking about it, he felt that it was not good to say so. At most, he could give Feng Changgong a special gift. He had to hurry, or Feng Changgong would be finished if he went down. Feng Changgong looked at Li Sun carefully. After confirming that he was the county magistrate, he said, "Don't worry, Your Highness. I will definitely go. It won't take long." "That's good. Hurry up and eat, or the soup will get cold." Li Sun, who felt that he had made a deal, was very happy. He pinched some chopped green onions and put them into Feng Changgong's soup bowl. He thought that Feng Changgong liked to drink it. Feng Changgong really hoped that Li Sun would be colder to him and not be so enthusiastic. He couldn't stand it. He endured the discomfort and ate one mouthful after another. Finally, he finished a jiama and a bowl of soup. It was so uncomfortable. If it weren't for the pickles and canned food, he wouldn't have eaten anything. He patted his belly and said, it's delicious. I really want to eat more, but unfortunately, I am full. Next time, I will treat County Magistrate Feng next time. I promise. Li Sun's smile was sincere this time. He was treating a customer. Feng Changgong agreed repeatedly. When he was thinking of an excuse to leave and let others suffer, 2 fast horses galloped from the direction of Baoxin County. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan heard the sound and turned to look. They saw only 1 person and 2 horses. They looked at each other. Zhang Xiaobao winked at Li Sun. Li Sun immediately said to Feng Changgong, "County Magistrate Feng, don't waste time here. The county's business is more important." At this moment, Feng Changgong really didn't want to leave. He could see that something was going on, but since Li Sun said so, he could only obediently agree and leave. When the person saw the place, he slowed down slightly. When he got close, he grabbed the reins and lifted the front leg of the horse. Then, he slid forward for a short distance and flipped over from the horse's back and landed on the ground. He hurriedly took out a letter, took a deep breath, and reported to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, "Lu Zhou has an urgent report. There is an internal strife in Xinyuan Island. Young master and young lady, please make a decision." "A fight? Good, I've been waiting for this day. Cuckoo, help me write the letter and proceed to the next step," Zhang Xiaobao said happily to Wang Wan, not as nervous as before when he heard the news. Chapter 7:12. As Zhang Xiaobao spoke, Wang Wan wrote. From time to time, Wang Wan would stop to voice her thoughts. Li Sun listened as well. He was also involved in this matter. Back then, he was the one who contributed. He even used his name as a member of the imperial family to attack the other party. He was also involved in Lu Zhou's business. Moreover, he had to find a market for the 100,000 mountains produce. Provide medicinal herbs to the tribes that oppose the other people so that they can recuperate better. If the situation requires it, we can even send a small number of our doctors in Lu Zhou. Just 10 of them. They can go there to provide international aid, the selfless kind. However, they must be careful not to hurt themselves. Now that Zhang Xiaobao was talking about medicinal herbs, Li Sun nodded in agreement. He liked to hear Zhang Xiaobao say things like this the most. He felt that Zhang Xiaobao was very noble, but in truth, he was full of evil ideas. Wang Wan wrote down Zhang Xiaobao's words and made her own suggestion. "I think we should also send the injured locals who don't have good conditions to receive treatment to Lu Zhou. Firstly, we can promote mutual understanding. Secondly, we can build a good impression of both sides. We can let the other party understand that Tang is peace-loving and that our people are kind." "That's right. Write it down." Zhang Xiaobao agreed with Wang Wan. Li Sun looked back and forth at the side. He looked at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. When he saw the sincerity in their eyes when they spoke, he wondered if he had misunderstood them. They were really willing to help the people there. There's one more thing to add. Once the local people are sent to Lu Zhou, don't let them know too much, especially the prices. Alright, let's move on to the next point. Zhang Xiaobao added one more point and approved this point. Li Sun, on the other hand, smashed the doubts that had just arisen in his heart. The sun was still the same, and the Ru River was still the same. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not change either. Not bad. Zhang Xiaobao was about to continue when he coughed. He was thirsty. He had eaten salted vegetables and jamo just now, but he did not drink soup. He ran to the place where the workers boiled water to drink and brought back a pot of water. He poured 3 bowls of water, blew on it, and took a sip. You can provide weapons to the peace-loving Xinyuan Island tribes. You can buy them on credit first. You don't need to make any profit. It's just a capital. An iron sword costs 40 strings of arrows, and a 2-stone iron bow costs 80 strings of arrows. You can also provide cement and help them build good fortifications. Remember to pack them well. Don't copy the Japanese. Don't give them gunpowder. It's troublesome to operate, and they might accidentally blow themselves up. But our people must be careful. They must carry firearms. Send gunships to follow them. If there's any danger, board the ships at the seaside. Alright, I'll add. Also, ask Lu Zhou's craftsmen to provide arrowheads. They'll cost 200 copper coins each. When we get there, let the local tribes make their own arrowheads. It's also a technical cooperation. Wang Wan wrote down what Zhang Xiaobao said and added. As Li Sun listened, he began to feel sorry for the people on the island. I told you to unite and resist, but now, no one can take advantage of the situation. What kind of iron saber is worth 40 strings of coins? How much capital? I reckon many people on the island will die, and the rest will all be pro-Tang. At the thought of the dead people, Li Sun also said, it's best if fewer people die. The heavens are virtuous and can educate them, teach them etiquette, honor, and disgrace, and help them live a good life. I'm willing to invest in the shares and set up a Xinyuan Island branch of the Ocean Relief Fund. I'll give them hope for a better life and buy the resources they get from their labor at a high price. I'll give them 10 caddies of copper ore and exchange it with 100 copper coins per caddy of cotton products. It's a small profit. When Li Sun said this, he mustered up a lot of courage and did not let himself blush. Sure, Your Highness, you're a good person who cares about the people. Why don't you directly smelt copper on the island in the future? You'll get a rough base and ship it back for fine processing. Zhang Xiaobao was very satisfied with Li Sun, who could say such things. It was good that they had a common language. The three of them gathered together and thought about it one by one. When the sun shone through the clouds and shone on the three of them, it seemed as if there was a golden light. The three of them kept drinking water because of the heat. Feng Changgong stood in the distance and watched, hoping to see something. For example, something happened to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's families, or they lost money in business and so on. After watching for a long time, he still did not get anything. He ordered the people who followed him, go back. Dream Chasing Master will be here soon. Go and welcome him. In the Four Seas Academy, the matter that Zhang Xiaobao had just mentioned was happening at this time. Shanben was at the dock by the sea, directing a group of people to load the scattered cement onto the ship. At this time, small pieces of cement had already appeared, but it was not serious. It could be crushed by hand. This was thanks to the inner courtyard of the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family. They were afraid that the cement was too dry and dusty, which would affect the health of others, so they sprayed some water. It was not a lot, and the effect was not very good, but they had good intentions. How could Shanben know that others had helped him out of kindness? He did not know how to preserve the cement. He used his sleeve to cover half of his face and narrowed his eyes. He said to Shanben, who was also watching the cement being loaded onto the ship, this time, if we can figure out how to make the cement when we ship back, it will be a great contribution. Yes. Shanben also thought so. There are also radishes that can grow ginseng, seeds, and 10,000 thermometers that we bought at a high price. I hope we can succeed. When the time comes, our country will not lack ginseng, and we can sell it elsewhere. We don't have money. The money sent by our country has been spent. We still owe 10 ships of silver ore and 5 ships of sulfur. After the ship returns to our country and unloads the things, we can return them when we come back. Otherwise, we will be arrested. The people between the clouds and the water will also encourage the great Tang Emperor to forbid other people from entering the Tang Empire. Shanban said with a little worry. Without money, they could not get close to others. If they could not get close to others, they could not learn skills. It would take at least half a year for the ship to go and return. They had to catch up with the wind. During this time, they could not move around, which would waste a lot of time. Shanban was also distressed about the money. The Four Seas Academy did have people to teach and ask, but it was impossible to learn good skills. If it was in the past, with a few words of praise and some money, they could learn. But now, there was no one to teach, and all the good skills were controlled. The best skills were in the hands of the Zhang family in Sanshui County. They were even stricter. Many skills were asked for, and it was said that the Tang Empire's imperial court did not have them. This time, they were lucky to get the skills to grow ginseng, but they could not just leave them there. Thinking of the luck last time, Shanban was tempted again. He said to Shanban, I think we should get in touch with Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan in Buxin County more. Maybe we can get the skills when they are not paying attention. Shanban nodded and then shook his head. This matter can't be done now. Zhang Xiaobao is always thinking about money. Without money, he will definitely not talk to us. But there are many good places in Tang Empire. We can send people to secretly learn and see if it can be used in our country. Well, when the ship leaves, I will arrange for people to learn it. Yamamoto, why don't we use other methods to get some money first? Shanban took over the matter and proposed a new idea. He meant to use economic means either to earn money directly or to cheat, but the tendency to cheat was greater. No, you can't. Didn't we suffer enough in Buxin County? Originally, we planned to let them gamble on the silver ore at a high price. Then, when we found that there was no firewood to use during the refining, we would sell them the wood we bought in the forest. In the end, only a small part of the silver ore flowed out. Most of it was kept by Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. It was piled up there and not refined at all. In 2 confrontations, not only did we not earn a copper coin, but we also lost a lot. As long as Tang Empire has Zhang Xiaobao, we can't expect to cheat others, unless a more powerful person comes. This time, Shanban decisively rejected. He still had a lingering fear when he thought of the 2 confrontations. The rumors were true. Zhang Xiaobao was very proficient in money and liked others to find trouble. As long as Shanban made a move, he knew that Zhang Xiaobao would participate. Then, he would easily lose the last bit of living expenses. Yamamoto, just now, our people sent news that Buxin County is going to draw a branch of the Rushui River that flows through Shinsai County. Li Sun, the son of the Tang dynasty's princely Qingyi, is also building a workshop in Shinsai County. He is the commandery prince of Tang and County in Shuzhou. A person hurried over from the dock and whispered to Yamamoto and Yamamoto. Yamamoto's eyebrows immediately formed the Chinese character, Sichuan, indicating that the person had understood. After the person left, he said to Yamamoto, the forest in Buxin County is probably bought for nothing. Once they draw the river, as long as there is not enough firewood, they can quickly send the firewood from Shinsai County to the place by boat. Then, the straw bought at a high price of 2,000 strings of coins this year is also lost. Yamamoto also said. Lost. We shouldn't have made a move in Buxin County. It was Feng Changgong from Shinsai County who insisted on benefits. Otherwise, we wouldn't have encountered such a thing in Shinsai County. Yamamoto regretted it. He knew that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had gone to Buxin County, but he was not convinced and insisted on going there to try. Now, it was fine. He had lost the first time, but he had also lost the final arrangement. It was really too sullen. What they did this time was not a plan specifically targeted at him. They just conveniently brought him along. Indeed, the river was not directed at the people of the Four Seas Academy, but it was directed at the Academy's purchase of forest and future straw. The sun in Bushine County was warm today. No longer worried about Zhang Xiaobao, Wang Wan, and Old Man Pai, they began to play the role of lecturers and demonstrators again. They explained the history of Gyeonggi province to others in the model area. Now, they were talking about astronomy and geography. Many people who had not been to Gyeonggi province wanted to go and have a look immediately. Those who did not know the identity of the two old men asked about it and sighed again. Ministers and prime ministers were indeed different from ordinary people. With two people personally explaining, it was worth the ticket money, even if it was 10 times the price. They were people who could see the emperor every day. While Old Man Bai and the other two were talking and demonstrating happily, one after another, horse-drawn carriages rushed over in a long line that stretched as far as the eye could see. The ground was filled with the black soil that had accidentally leaked out. Just as they passed by, 3 old men saw them. Old Man Pai personally approached them and asked, "What is this?" The people in the inner courtyard of the Zhang family immediately replied, "It's coal from Xiangqing. It's cheap." The young master and the young lady said it would be of great use. Chapter 7:13. Cart after cart of coal face was sent to the designated place to be filled with water. Old Man Pai and the other two stopped performing and telling stories to the tourists. They all went over to see what Xiao Bao and Cuckoo were going to do. Are they going to use the coal pancakes? This is something I've only seen the Zhang family and Wang family tell others how to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning when they were burning Kong beds on the north side of the Yellow River. The people here don't burn Kong beds. Old Man Pai looked at the busy people and said to himself, "Let's see." Old Man Chang had only slept on a Kong bed when he came to the capital before the new year. It was hard and he wasn't used to it, but it was warm. He couldn't figure out what Xiao Bao and Cuckoo were going to do with the large amount of coal face, so he stood at a high place to watch. Once the coal face was sent to the place, the people in the inner courtyard of the Zhang family organized people to work. They didn't hide it, so anyone who wanted to watch could watch. In addition to the coal face, there was also yellow mud, straw, sorghum stalks, wheat stalks, and charcoal powder left over from burning charcoal at home. The iron molds that had been made long ago were moved outside and put down. Then they began to play with the clay. Someone was in charge of the clay, and someone was in charge of recording. According to different proportions, 100 clay balls mixed with various materials were made of each proportion. They were put into the molds and pressed into cylinders with many holes in the middle. After more than half an hour, more than 30 cylinders of different proportions were made. They were placed outside to dry, and there were people to watch over them. Old Man Yao pulled a maid of the Zhang family over. "Xiao Tao, what are you doing?" In reply to Old Man Yao, the young master and young lady are making honeycomb briquettes to see which proportion is good and which is cost-effective. In the future, we will specially make them for boiling water and cooking. There will be special furnaces with 1 hole, 4 holes, and even 9 holes. We will arrange according to the number of people. The coal face is not valuable, and the other things are not valuable either. The honeycomb briquettes can save firewood and feed. The most important thing is that they are convenient to use and won't easily cause a big fire. The maid didn't hide anything and answered all the questions. What's the use of saving firewood? Old Man Yao still couldn't understand. It can be used to make charcoal. Charcoal has more uses, and its price is much higher than honeycomb coal. Most importantly, the more difficult the Yellow River is, the less likely it is to use coal. It is used in the north. Coal is a waste of face, and the rice straw can be used to distill wine. Even if people don't drink it, it can be used in other aspects. This time, the servant girl, Xiao Tao, didn't speak loudly. Instead, she moved closer to Old Man Yao's ear and whispered to him. Old Man Yao Weiwei was stunned. Straw can also be distilled. Even so, you guys still have to surround this place. Now that you've all seen it, it's easy for others to learn it. Don't tell me they're talking about it from the stove. If the young master says it can be done, then it can be done. The young master said that after distilling the straw, it can be made into paper. It would be a pity to burn the good straw and other stalks to feed the cows. You don't have to keep this a secret. The stove is easy to make. You just need to take a look at it. When you get the best ratio, you can post a notice to let others know how to use coal to make honeycomb briquettes. We can use the saved stalks to set up purchase and processing points in various places. Our family has never kept anything that concerns the livelihood of the people a secret. The servant girl knew quite a lot. She answered another question from Old Man Yao. The three old men chose to believe her last sentence. If it was said that it wasn't kept a secret, then it really wasn't kept a secret. She had already taken out the methods of raising poultry, interplanting, and rearing. She had also handed over the methods of building greenhouses in the north. However, those were only handed over when the Zhang family and Wang family didn't need to rely on such methods to earn money or when they needed to exchange benefits. Now, was this honeycomb briquettes prepared to be exchanged for benefits, or was it because they didn't need to rely on it to earn money? It was hard to figure out. Perhaps because she also felt that what she said was a little untenable, the servant girl, Xiao Tao, explained, actually, doing this in Buxin County has another purpose, and that is to attack the Four Seas Academy's cross-industry economic strategy. A few days ago, when they came to sell the silver ore, they had a series of plans. However, they encountered the little young master and didn't wait for their plans to be connected before they were cut off. However, there was still a little trouble after that. The forest they bought and the straw they had to buy at a high price will cause the county to have a shortage of firewood for a certain period of time. Transporting firewood from other places will increase the cost. The little young master's intention is to let others know that as long as he is still around, don't think of using methods to attack the people of the Great Tang to obtain personal benefits. Don't think that you'll get lucky and won't give you any chances. Even if it's just a short-term scheme on firewood and straw, it's better to give up on this idea as soon as possible. When she said these words, Xiao Tao raised her head proudly, as if saying that the world was so big, who else but her could do it? The three old men understood. It turned out that Xiao Bao was angry because the people from the Four Seas Academy still dared to come and find trouble with him after finding out that he was an official in Buxin County. Furthermore, they didn't admit defeat and retreat. He wanted to specifically target the other party once, using the effect of knocking the mountain to scare the tiger and killing the chicken to warn the monkey. It was to tell those who didn't have such thoughts that they shouldn't play tricks in front of him. If they played tricks, as long as he went over, they would have to retreat. There was no room for negotiation. Old Man Chang laughed. Ha, good. You're domineering enough. You can match up to Cuckoo. It seems that the two of them have indeed inherited the true skills. The most important thing is not simply to defeat others. If it's just a defeat, my good granddaughter Xian can also do it. The main thing is that Xiao Bao didn't forget to take the people's livelihood into consideration when he was dealing with his opponent. It's hard to find a hidden plan, but it's hard to find one after another. Yes, the Zhang family is the same as the expert who taught him. At the very least, he should kill two birds with one stone. Otherwise, he won't be calculating and will have to rely on the two of them in the future. Old Man Pai, who understood the way the Zhang family and the Wang family did things, was now relieved. He felt that even if the expert behind the Zhang family and the Wang family died, they didn't have to worry about not having an heir. When the time came, when Xiao Bao and Cuckoo grew up and taught their skills to others, generations of the Tang Empire wouldn't have to worry about sudden crises in the future. Unless the emperor was muddle-headed, such a thing probably wouldn't happen. If the current emperor was muddle-headed, perhaps the experts from the Zhang family and the Wang family could. Li Sun. He couldn't think about this anymore. Thinking of something, Old Man Pai couldn't help but tremble. At the same time, he had a trace of fear for the Zhang family and the Wang family. Old Man Pai wasn't like Old Man Pai, who had followed the Zhang family and the Wang family since Sanshui County. He didn't know the two families as well as the Old Man Pai. He didn't know that the Zhang family had always been scheming. When a scheme was used, it was never just for one purpose. Moreover, when the scheme was used, it was hard for people to figure it out. When people saw it, they couldn't stop it even if they wanted to. For example, the promotion of Sanshui County from Zhongxin County to Shaanxi County. All of these were laid out little by little when people didn't expect it. After he fell ill and almost died, he was brought to Shuzhou and gradually integrated into the lives of the Zhang family and the Wang family. Compared to Old Man Pai, he was much worse, but he still knew some of the situation. For example, the construction of Shuzhou, the arrangement of the dam being breached, and various methods in Idyll. When he first learned about Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, they were in two different wars. When the two joined forces, not only did they win the two wars, but they also schemed against the Tubo Empire. They exchanged a lot of livestock for Jian and Dao at a low price. At that time, no one would have thought that they would immediately counterattack after defeating the Tubo Empire's economic war. According to this, Xiaobao probably still had a backup plan. Thinking of this, Old Man Yao asked the servant girl, Xiao Tao, apart from this, what else? What else? What else? Xiao Tao asked in return. She lowered her head and thought for a while before saying, maybe there's more. I heard the young master and the young lady mention that in the future, they should make more paper and continue to study printing. This way, more people won't have to worry about paper. Bad paper can be used to make things to hold eggs. It's convenient to transport them and can be used to build houses. I don't know about the rest, but there should be more. The young lady and the young master discussed this matter for 3 days. Similarly, it shouldn't take that long. That means there's more, the 3 old men thought at the same time. After so many things were settled, the 3 old men were in a good mood. Seeing that the honeycomb coal wouldn't dry up in a short time, they ran to the model to have fun. They were very happy. Some people were happy, while others were sad. Zhang Shuo was now worried about who he should send to Kai County. Firstly, it had to be his own people. Secondly, it had to be someone who could take care of things independently and know when to advance and when to retreat. In the future, Kai County wouldn't be as simple as it was now. Zisho, help me think about who should be sent to Kai County. It has to be someone who is really capable and can do practical things. He has to be able to deal with the business of the Zhang family and the Wang family. He has to be able to not restrict the business of the Zhang family and the Wang family. What if we send a hothead who doesn't find the fault with the original county magistrate and acts against the business of the Zhang family and the Wang family first? Then, we'll be in big trouble. Zhang Shuo didn't have an idea at the moment, so he turned to ask Zhang Jiuling, who he had called to discuss this matter with. Zhang Jiuling was also worried. He really didn't want to get involved. He didn't want to offend either side. Could the Zhang family and the Wang family stop them? Even the emperor could only use conditions in exchange, let alone others. When he heard Zhang Shuo's question, he had no choice but to say, just send an obedient person with 2 nimble assistants to investigate the accounts of Kai County. However, it can't involve Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, let alone Prince Tong and After dealing with Feng Changgong and the others, just put away your thoughts and do your job properly. If you run into any trouble, ask Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan for advice. Don't act on your own accord. Just like the officials in Luzhou, as long as you follow the rules, you won't run into any trouble. Zhang Shuo had also thought of this point. However, he was worried that Yu Wenrong would object and make things difficult for him behind his back. Therefore, he retreated in order to advance. He gave up his position and didn't let the person he arranged go over. Instead, he sent the person on his side who was not capable to Axian Kai and waited to watch the show. On his side, there weren't many people who could really do things. There were people who could do things and had passed the imperial examinations. For example, those who passed the imperial examinations in Jinjia Academy would be easy to use. However, they weren't his people. They were from the Zhang family and the Wang family. No, definitely not. After pondering for a long time, Zhang Shuo sighed to Wei Wei and said, "Officials of grade 6 and above can't go. We can only send people from grade 6 to grade 9. Just the 6 of them. Write down 3 names first. As for the other 3, we'll bring them up when others object." All right. When Zhang Jiuling saw that Zhang Shuo had already made up his mind, he knew it was useless to object. Chapter 7:14. Zhang Shuo made up his mind. The next morning, it was morning court. He didn't know why the weather was so hot today. It was a little stuffy early in the morning. The moment the sun came out, he could feel sweat seeping out. Today was also a crowded day. All the 5th rank and above people in the capital were here. They stood in 2 rows outside. Fortunately, there were people holding umbrellas for them. Zhang Shuo wondered if he should wait until after work to talk to the emperor about the candidates. At the same time, he could also get some tea from the emperor. There wasn't much tea at home. Ever since he had a bad relationship with Cuckoo, Zhang Shuo and Wang family didn't bring him any tea when they sent him tea a few days ago. Children were really vengeful. He thought so, but someone wouldn't let him do so. At the start of the morning court, without waiting for Li Longji, who was sitting under 2 umbrellas, to ask about the situation during the spring plowing, Yuan Qianyao suddenly floated out. At least in Zhang Shuo's eyes, he was like a ghost. "Your Majesty, I heard yesterday that Baoxin County's Registrar Zhang Xiaobao and County Deputy Wang Wan submitted a letter to the Secretariat. They want to fill the positions of the officials promoted from Axian Kai County. There are 6 candidates, and I think it's feasible." Yuan Qianyao was afraid that Zhang Shuo would secretly say it. If he didn't mention it now, he wouldn't have the chance to participate in it later. He couldn't just blindly follow Zhang Shuo. Zhang Shuo wasn't the only person in the Secretariat. If he couldn't find out about this, he wouldn't be able to be the Prime Minister. Li Longji didn't know about this and didn't directly say anything. Instead, he glanced at Gao Lisher. Gao Lisher was also puzzled. How did Xiao Bao and Cuckoo go through the proper channels? It might be so for other officials, but it wasn't right for them. Zhang Zhong didn't seem to have gone through the proper channels many times. Xiao Bao and Cuckoo always directly wrote to him about what they wanted to do and let the emperor know through him. Then, they would achieve their goals. Gao Lisher, who couldn't figure it out and didn't understand, gave Li Longji a blank look. Seeing that Gao Lisher didn't know, Li Longji became interested and asked Yuan Qianyao, "How can Axian Kai County be promoted to a county? Tell me." This simple sentence made all the officials envious and jealous. It wasn't because the emperor asked about the promotion of Zhong County, but because the emperor didn't mention when the registrar and deputy county magistrate of Baoxin County would be in charge of Axian Kai County. It was as if what Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan said was very normal. That was how it should be, to catch up with the censorate. The officials of the censorate and the Ministry of Rights resisted the urge to stand up and tell the emperor that this matter was against the rules. They just stood there and selectively lost their hearing. Yuan Qianyao wasn't thinking about this either. He replied to Li Longji, "Your Majesty, Commandery Prince Tang and wishes to build a few businesses in Xiankai County to improve the living standards of the local people. Baoxin County's Registrar Zhang Xiaobao and Deputy County Magistrate Wang Wan should be helping to preside over matters in Xiankai County." Oh, no, they should be in Xiankai County to see how they can manage Baoxin County together. This plan is divided into 4 steps. Once these 4 steps are done, the corresponding education and medical treatment will follow. At that time, the population of the county will definitely exceed 5,000 people. Therefore, there are 6 candidates for the replacement of positions: Chen Shi, Zhang Han. Yuan Qianyao didn't forget about the 6 candidates when he told Li Longji the details of the matter. They were all Yu Wenrong's men. Although they weren't really his men, he could still give Zhang Han a blow. When the officials heard this, their eyes swept back and forth between Yu Wenrong and Zhang Han, wanting to see their reactions. Under normal circumstances, even the county magistrate of Shangshan County was only a secondary class, grade 6 local official. No one in the capital cared about the officials. If they were really appointed, they would be demoted. However, once the Zhang family and Wang family were involved, things would not be so simple. In the beginning, it was Sanshui County. Now, no one could send an official there. If they wanted to send an official there, they would have to first be a scribe and slowly rise up the ranks. Who would want to directly send a county magistrate there? Dream on. Not even the registrar or deputy magistrate could be sent there, let alone a county magistrate. It was about the same for Huayuan County. There was also Luzhou, Yi Prefecture, and Shu Prefecture where Commandery Prince Tang and was located. These were the places where the Zhang family and Wang family had been before. Once there was a position, they would do anything to squeeze into it. They would rather not take the position in the capital first. After 2 years, they would definitely be able to come back. Those with idle positions would have real power. Those from the Ministry of Rights would be able to go to the Ministry of War or the Ministry of Revenue. This was a shortcut. As long as they were not stupid and went against people when they went there, they would have a golden signboard that was extremely dazzling. Currently, no one knew who would be able to take over the position of Baoxin County. The neighboring Xiankai County was also targeted by the Zhang family and Wang family. They had already started building a complete set of facilities. Would there be any shortage in the future? Li Longji knew what all the officials knew. If Xiao Bao and Wang Wan really got involved, Xiankai County would become very prosperous in the future. They would be able to pay a lot of taxes every year. Unfortunately, Zhang Zhong could no longer be sent to be the provincial governor. The people from the Zhang family and Wang family could not be sent to be local officials for the time being. Otherwise, they would really want to disperse. At that time, they would have more money. They could do whatever they wanted and fight wherever they wanted. The 6 people who were promoted were all minor officials. Li Longji did not know who they belonged to. His eyes followed the direction of the officials' gazes. When he saw them, he understood. They were actually Zhang Shuo and Yu Wenrong's men. If Zhang Shuo knew what Li Longji was thinking, he would be so angry that he would vomit blood. None of those 6 people were his men. His men had all gone through the imperial examinations. Look at those 6 people. Some of them were shady, and some of them slowly worked their way up. None of them were even in this life. At this time, Li Longji spoke, "What do you think?" After he asked, he did not forget to look at Gao Lishir. He meant to say that Gao Lishir should also think about it. Don't send the wrong person. If you really send a stupid person there, he would find trouble with the Zhang family and Wang family for no reason and delay the tax collection. Gao Lishe replied to Li Longji with a look of understanding. He stood there and began to think. He knew that the best candidate was not someone who had accumulated experience in the local areas, nor was he someone who had gone through the imperial examinations. He had to be someone who had been sponsored or taught by the Zhang family and Wang family. The best candidate was, of course, someone who had graduated from the Jinjia Academy. Those who had passed the imperial examinations could be arranged as they wished. If they were asked to write history, they would do it. If they were asked to do something, they would do it. They would never make any mistakes. This was because these people wanted to take the imperial examinations. They would have to report to the academy a year in advance. The academy would specially set questions for them. They had to pass within a year before they were allowed to take the imperial examinations. Otherwise, even if they were capable and could get a place as a high scholar elsewhere, they would not be able to pass the imperial examinations. Those who graduated from the Jinjia Academy were all very capable. He had also heard that the examination questions were different every year. Some would send you out to be a registrar. The deputy county magistrate and county magistrate were in cahoots. Your good ideas would all be suppressed, and you would be asked what to do. Some would send you to places that were prone to floods. When you were the county magistrate, the officials below would not cooperate with you. The provincial central government and the imperial court would not allocate money to you. How could you minimize the disasters caused by floods? All the examination questions would not be asked in person. Instead, they would give you a map and arrange for people to complete the personnel involved in the examination questions. When you were the county magistrate, you would be like a real county magistrate in the year of the examination. There would be others who would cooperate with you or not. They would play supporting roles. The difficulty of the examination was definitely higher than real life. There would even be unruly people who would cause trouble. The local gentry would be powerful. How could those who could accept such an examination and survive it be easy to deal with? It was really comfortable to use such people. When a place was in trouble, they would be sent to be officials. That would save them a lot of trouble. However, all the places that the Zhang family and Wang family had been to, except for Sanshui County, could not be arranged anywhere else. Otherwise, it would be terrible. If they really worked together, it would be like the wind following the tiger and the clouds following the dragon. No matter what, they had to be suppressed. While Gao Lishe was thinking about this, the imperial court had already started to quarrel. Some people said that any of the 6 people could be chosen and that 3 people would be enough. Some people specifically picked 3 people. There were also people who rejected the 6 people one by one, saying that none of them could be chosen. At this time, Zhang Shuo had not said anything. It was not time for him to stand up personally. Naturally, he would have his own people to help him. Time passed quietly like this. Li Longji was not in a hurry. He asked someone to bring tea and sat there to drink. When the officials of the Ministry of Rites saw the emperor drinking tea, they also chose to be blind. As the sun rose, it was getting hotter and hotter. What if the emperor's body could not bear it and fainted? Just drink a little. Li Longji watched the commotion and planned to eat something later to prolong the morning court. When he heard the excuses of the people below, he felt that it was very interesting. He signaled Gao Lishe to come closer and said, "Lishe, what do you think about sending 3 people who passed the examination of Jinjia Academy?" "Oh, there's no need for 3. 1 is enough. Jinjia Academy's examination is stricter than the imperial examination." Gao Lishe wanted to nod and agree. If he sent 3 people from the academy, then Xiao Bao and Cuckoo would have less to worry about. However, he could not and could only reply, "Your Majesty, I think that's not right." The people from Jinja Academy should be sent to places where they are needed more. Xiao Bao and Cuckoo are overseeing Aksayan Kai County, so we don't have to worry about them at all. Moreover, even if the officials sent are not good, Xiao Bao and Cuckoo will have ways to deal with them. Hiwei, whom I asked them to deal with, is not only not on a business trip, but also learned a lot. He is not greedy and is wholeheartedly devoted to the people. This is all thanks to Xiao Bao and Cuckoo's teachings. It was precisely because of this that Li Longji was not in a hurry. He really did not believe that the 3 local officials sent could avoid Xiao Bao and Cuckoo's methods when they were disobedient. If there really was such a person, they should be given a better position. After hearing Gao Lisher's words, he was also very satisfied with him. He did not help his adopted son gain any benefits. How loyal! He nodded slightly and said, "Why don't we order Zhang Zhong to set up an academy in Luoyang? We can find people from the Jixin courtyard to teach there." "I don't think Luoyang is good. Why don't we build an academy in Wanyan County? When Zhang Zhong comes to the capital, there will be someone there to manage it," Gao Lisher suggested. The 2 of them talked about other things while the people below were quarreling. When the monarch and subject were almost done talking, Zhang Shuo finally spoke. Chapter 7:15. As soon as Zhang Shuo finished speaking, the court was suddenly silent. All the officials looked at Zhang Shuo differently. Cui Riji was now a secondary grade 3 official. Zhang Shuo was going to promote him to a secondary grade 6 official. This was a huge drop in rank. If one were to calculate, secondary grade 3, primary grade 4, secondary grade 4, secondary grade 4, secondary grade 4, to secondary grade 6, how much would his rank drop? Furthermore, he would be demoted from a capital official to a local official. His salary would also change. But thinking about it carefully, the position of palace supervisor was indeed too idle. It did not have any real power. It was better to go to a different place before being promoted to a better position. If Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan heard this, they would know that this was called a high rank. In order to promote people, they could first promote a person to a department level and give him a very idle position. For example, this person could be promoted in 3 to 5 years. At that time, the department-level official would be demoted to a small county in a second-grade city to be a county magistrate or secretary. This position was originally a department-level official. At most, it would be a department-level official. But if it was a small position, there would not even be a deputy department-level official. It seemed very reasonable. The department-level official would be promoted to a department head position, a high rank. If he continued to work, he would be promoted to the provincial level and not to the local city. This time, he would have some power and authority. After that, he would be demoted to the level of a divisional leader with real power. In less than 15 years, he would be promoted to the position of a real leader. If he was not a mayor, he would be a deputy mayor or a deputy secretary. After 2 more years of training, in a normal city, the secretary would also be the mayor or deputy mayor. In a better city, he would only be in charge of politics and be the secretary. After that, he would be promoted to the position of a high official. Switching back and forth, those who did not know would think that they were promoted and demoted. In fact, they were promoted step by step. This was what Zhang Shuo had in mind. He wanted to drop down first. After all, it wasn't easy to change his position in the Hall of Supervisors, so he might as well take a detour and get promoted. At the same time, he could earn more money. Who didn't want to be an official in a place where the Zhang and Wang families had been before? If one did a good job and didn't cause trouble, when the place developed, they would immediately receive a large sum of money the moment they left their post. Especially in Sanshui County. Although he couldn't get any benefits when he was a county magistrate, when he was a county magistrate, the county would take care of all his family's needs. He couldn't even spend his salary. Of course, he didn't need to save it. After a few years, he wouldn't make any mistakes. When he was promoted, he could get a sum of money from the county magistrate. It was a sum that he couldn't even get when he was a county magistrate. It was enough for 3 generations to spend without waste. Until now, no one had dared to do as they wished, insisting on being greedy and accepting bribes. I don't think it's appropriate. Chui Riji is an official of the capital. What if he can't figure it out when he goes to the local area? How can he handle political affairs? An official stood up and objected. That's not right. Back then, His Majesty had specially promoted the local officials to the capital and sent them down to allow the government to pass. Why can't he do it now? Zhang Shuo's people immediately responded. As a result, the 2 sides quarreled again. In the end, they let the emperor make the decision. Li Longji didn't care who was sent. In any case, it was the same no matter who went. Besides, he still had to give Zhang Shuo some face, so he agreed to Zhang Shuo's suggestion. After Chui Riji's appointment was announced, Yu Wenrong's side couldn't accept it. After thinking about it, he also said, "Your Majesty, I think the position of registrar should be taken by the current imperial secretary, Li Linfu." All the officials were stunned. Just now, a 3rd-rank official was sent down. This time, it was a 4th-rank official. It seemed that compared to the Zhang Shuo and Wang families, the officials in the capital were worthless. A 6th-rank official was sent down, and all the officials below were high-ranking officials. Similarly, after arguing for a while, Li Longji also agreed to let Li Linfu go. Li Linfu didn't know that his destiny had been changed by someone else. As for the 3rd position, it was arranged by Li Longji himself. He sent a county magistrate from another county, the kind that was also very stupid, similar to He Wei. He was going to send it over to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan to deal with. A blue flame rose faintly, and a kettle sat on top of it. Many people were watching. Maid Xiao Tao held a honeycomb briquette in her hand and explained to the people watching, "This is honeycomb briquette, and that is a stove made from honeycomb briquette. It's simple to make and easy to use. It takes longer to burn than normal firewood. If you make it yourself, 20 honeycomb briquettes will only cost you 1 copper coin. When the river was connected, the coal would be shipped in by boat." Some people would say, "I don't need to spend money to burn firewood. I burn firewood every year. I don't need to fork out a single copper coin. I have to make both coal and a furnace." Actually, that's not the case. We won't let everyone spend this money for nothing. If you have firewood, you can take it out and sell it to us. We will buy it at a high price. We are willing to buy a cart of inferior firewood for 5 copper coins, but a cart of good firewood can be sold for 8 or 10 copper coins. Some people will say that a cart of firewood can burn for a month, but if you make honeycomb briquettes, 10 pieces can only burn for a day. In that case, even if you make 10 carts of firewood less than a year, you won't be able to make any money. But if you make firewood and sell it, you can have a cart full of firewood in 2 to 3 days. Isn't that a profit? Also, we have another plan. That is, as long as you sell your firewood to us, we will provide you with coal and other things for free. Think about it, a big bundle of straw can only make a meal. Sometimes, it may not be enough, such as stewing, which is very fire-consuming. Honeycomb briquette is different. At most, 2 pieces of honeycomb briquette can make a stew very mushy. Moreover, it's very easy to use. You can use it even in winter. Put a wire net on it, and you can even roast food. Maid Xiao Tao summed up the speech by herself and tried her best to explain it to the people. However, the people didn't listen at all. Even if she performed better than Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, she couldn't move the people's hearts. At this time, He Wei came out and shouted at the top of his voice, "Our county's official Zhang and county deputy Wang, who are Xiao Bao and Cuckoo, need firewood and straw. Therefore, they asked you to make honeycomb briquettes. Don't waste them." As soon as he shouted, the people suddenly swarmed over and carefully looked at the honeycomb briquettes in Xiaodao's hand. Some people went to see how to make the stove, and some began to ask in detail how to use the honeycomb briquettes more economically. No one was watching from the side, and no one in the county hesitated. If Xiao Chong and Ijo saw this, he would have a deeper understanding of what Zhang Xiaobao meant when he said that the people could also support you. He Wei's honest words were more effective than Xiaodao's lively speech. The people didn't understand the principles, but they knew how to choose. When they heard that it was Xiao Bao and Cuckoo who needed it, all their hesitation was cast away. Old Man Pai looked up at the sky and sighed. He said to Old Man Yao, "This is the human heart." It was like this in Luzhou. Zhang Zhong called for help, and thousands of people responded. No one doubted him at all. Even now, when I think about that scene, it still makes me feel emotional. Old Man Yao was a little jealous. As the Prime Minister, he couldn't do this. He didn't expect that the reputation of the two little guys could be so effective. It seemed that it was right to not let Zhang Zhong be a local official again. Otherwise, if he called for a rebellion, the local people would probably follow suit. Xiao Tao didn't expect things to be so simple. She only needed to mention the young master and the young lady, and the people could accept it. She was surrounded by the people and began to explain the formula. She also told them where the coal face was shipped from. The place next to Xiang City was more than 200 miles away from here. It was along the Ru River. When the time came, they could sell the things here there. The travel cost was not much, and a ship could carry a lot of coal face. The people listened carefully. They thought it was troublesome just now. If there was firewood, why would they need to make a honeycomb coal? However, it was different now. Xiao Bao and Cuckoo needed it, so they naturally had to support them. As long as they didn't lose money, it didn't matter whether they earned or not. The people who stayed here also came closer to listen. When they saw the expressions of the people around them, they shook their heads helplessly. He knew that the plan of the higher-ups had failed again, and it was a complete failure. Although the Zhang family and the Wang family said that they were buying firewood and straw, they definitely wouldn't leave any loopholes for others to exploit. When the time came, they would definitely have other ways to control it. When the honeycomb coal could be sold, Zhang Xiaobao, Wang Wan, and Li Sun were still at the construction site in Xinsai County, watching the construction scene. The workshop couldn't be built in a day. Even if the people were working hard, for the sake of quality, they had to wait for a lot of time. They had to wait for the previous place to dry up before they could move on to the next step. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't expect to be able to build one floor in 3 days. If that was the case, 6 days would be enough. This was because there wasn't a need for buildings that were too tall. 2 floors were enough. 1 floor for work, and the other floor for raw materials. If there was a special place for processing, they could put the raw materials below and live on the top floor. "Your Royal Highness, are you going to stay here tonight? Why are you looking for us to chat? This official is still sleepy. I really can't afford to accompany you." Zhang Xiaobao looked at the sky and saw that Li Sun didn't seem to want to leave, so he asked him. "Isn't it just that we haven't seen each other for a long time? I just want to talk to you. When we talk, you eat grilled fish. Otherwise, you have to eat supper too. It's the same. At most, I'll go to bed early tonight. Can you bear to chase me away?" Li Sun had an aggrieved expression. Unfortunately, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't believe him. Who asked him to show such good acting skills when he was talking to Feng Changgong? Zhang Xiaobao shook his head and said, "Don't say such things. You should set a time to rest first. Otherwise, Cuckoo and I will go back to the county and not come out." "Time? How about it at midnight? I know that you're moved by love. It's a pity that I haven't found my other half yet." Li Sun gave him a time and then continued to complain. I'm jealous. I can't do it at midnight. At the very least, I can't get up tomorrow." Zhang Xiaobao wanted to explain that he couldn't do anything now, but he suddenly realized that it was useless to explain. He could only set a time. Chapter 7:16. When the moon rose before the sun set, it was time for the workers to rest. Those who lived nearby could go home, and those who lived far away could live in tents. 3 meals were provided a day. These days, dinner was always the best, and there was also a bowl of wine. It was the same as what the Zhang family and Wang family used to do. Today, because Li Sun wanted to eat barbecue, the entire construction site started barbecuing. There were no vegetables, so they could only drink soup. The people here were not used to eating barbecued vegetables. Li Sun ate different from the others. The others barbecued a small portion of mutton, mostly chicken and pork. Each person had a fish, as they did not like to eat barbecued fish. During the preparation, Li Sun began to wander around with a few guards. He looked here and there, and occasionally stopped to talk to others. The people working now knew who this person was. He was a member of the imperial family, Li Sun, Prince Tang. If it was just this name, the commoners would only talk about it occasionally in their free time for the sake of novelty. However, Li Sun was definitely not so easily forgotten. Who was good and who was bad, the commoners were not stupid. Of course, they knew. How the commoners of Shuzhou were doing now could be found out from the mouths of the merchants who came and went. What they didn't expect was that this legendary member of the royal family was actually so amiable. He smiled at everyone he saw and didn't have a condescending tone when he spoke. He didn't wear the silk clothes of ordinary rich people, but light blue cloth clothes, which were said to be made of white fold. This kind of clothes did not look rich at all. One could only tell the difference if they looked closely at the stitches, the workmanship, and the dark patterns embroidered on it. When you barbecue this kind of fish, remember to put oil on it. Look, yours is burnt. Also, turn it over immediately after you sprinkle the salt. Don't let the salt stay on the fish. It's not salted fish. We didn't catch enough prawns today. Otherwise, we would have barbecued them for you. Li Sun walked to a barbecue table under the respectful gaze of the crowd and explained how to barbecue to the people sitting there. In fact, other people knew how to barbecue, but they didn't do it that way. The barbecuers consciously dissolved the salt in the water, made a small plate, and gently brushed it on the fish. They flipped it diligently and didn't put any oil at all. At this time, after hearing Li Sun's words, the person in charge of the roasting nodded and replied, "Your Highness, it's too wasteful to put oil on the roasted food. It's also not easy to use salt. It's better to save as much as possible. Don't be thrifty. I'm letting you eat so that you can eat well. If you're thrifty, I wouldn't have prepared these for you. Just eat what you should eat. Don't worry, this little bit of food comes from your work. As long as you work hard, you'll be worthy of the food." Li Sun finally understood. It turned out that he wasn't the only one who was smart. They weren't stupid either. They just couldn't bear to part with the food. He hurriedly persuaded them and gave the task of persuading them. He had the guards look everywhere. After looking around, he returned. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had already prepared everything. In addition to the food for others, there were also the shrimp that they caught, and the cow that Li Sun had people look for during the day that accidentally fell to its death. He didn't know why the cow was so stupid. It threw a tantrum while plowing the field for a long time. In the end, someone secretly found someone to sell it. Didn't it fall to its death? After picking up a piece of meat and putting it on the barbecue, Li Sun suddenly asked Zhang Xiaobao, who do you think the imperial court will send to take over Feng Changgong's current position? I don't like him. He came here during the day again. He didn't know anything and just talked nonsense. He even brought a Taoist priest with him to look around. I don't think he has any good intentions. Zhang Xiaobao put 2 shrimp on the barbecue. He slowly flipped through it and said, it doesn't matter who they send, as long as there is a result. If Feng Changgong didn't find a Taoist priest, he might be able to stay in an idle position for a while. Now that the Taoist priest has found him, he's finished. Don't you want him to go to your place to spend money? You have to hurry up, or you won't have a chance. I have to teach him a lesson. In public, he doesn't have any ability. In order to promote Zhongxian to Shangxian, he actually sent people to other places to find refugees. I heard that he has a room in his house where the statue of Yama is enshrined. Every day, he has to worship it and burn an incense stick. It's not a big deal. The problem is that he wants the surrounding places to suffer disasters so he can attract refugees to replenish the population. In private, this is the most important thing. He has offended me and Cuckoo. He knew we wanted to divert the river, but he insisted on stopping us. Even if he's a saint, I won't let him have an easy time. Otherwise, if word of this spreads in the future, won't anyone be able to offend us? Li Sun could understand Zhang Xiaobao. Although Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were usually easygoing, they would not have an easy time if someone targeted them. Even if they did not die, they would lose a layer of skin. Back then, when they were in Luzhou, how badly were those officials tortured by them? If they were dreaming now, it would be a nightmare. However, he could not think of how Zhang Xiaobao would deal with Feng Changgong. Hence, he asked, Xiaobao, you can't just let him do it there, right? The people will believe you. Of course, I can't let them do that. It won't be effective. I have to help them do it. I have to let the people know that there's a Taoist priest called Dream Chaser who's very powerful. He can reach the heavens and the earth. Let alone the rise and fall of Kai County, he can even see the major events in the world. I've decided. I'll meet him tomorrow and see what he's capable of. If he's really powerful, I'll commend him for it. I can't let a capable person overlook it. Zhang Xiaobao said to Li Sun. At this time, the prawns had turned red. He took the ones that were hot and skinned them bit by bit. When the first prawn was placed on the plate that Wang Wan brought over, he said to Wang Wan, peel the next one yourself. Don't always bully me. The ones I peel aren't as fragrant as the ones you peel. Xiaobao, where's the Taoist priest we hired? Didn't you say you wanted to fight poison with poison? Wang Wan bit off a third of the prawn and smiled at Zhang Xiaobao. He's here. Our master is His Royal Highness, Prince Tang. Zhang Xiaobao raised his chin and pointed at Li Sun. How can it be me? I don't know how to do it. Li Sun quickly shook his head and refused. How can it not be you? You ate the meat I made, so you have to do some work. If you don't know how to do it, you can learn. In fact, you don't need to know too much. Tomorrow, I'll put on a disguise for you. You just need to do as I say. You'll definitely be able to make Feng Changgong apologize. Otherwise, not only him, but his family will be finished. Zhang Xiaobao said to Li Sun as he roasted a prawn for Wang Wan. Li Sun stared at Zhang Xiaobao's movements. Then I'll try. But don't blame me if I mess up. Slow down, let me see clearly. Li Sun also wanted to learn Zhang Xiaobao's cooking skills. When the time came, she could either cook for herself or for her future wife. Even if she could cook for the servants, it would be good to get a few compliments. Ever since he met Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, he never thought that there was anything wrong with men cooking. Which of the real good cooks were not men? Zhang Xiaobao really couldn't understand Li Sun's thoughts. He tried to slow down and said while roasting the prawns, the best prawns are actually turned by hand. I don't want to burn my hands. If the prawns become blisters and become calluses, it will affect the sensitivity of my hands. I can also write and draw. Many scholars don't want to do rough work because of this. The advantage of roasting prawns by hand is that you can pinch them during the roasting process. If you use chopsticks for a long time, your wrist will be sore. Besides, it's not as good as your hands. When Cuckoo and I eat salted prawns, the shells are still intact. In fact, the same goes for roasted prawns. If you pinch them accurately, Wei Wei will lift the head and pinch the tail, and the whole shell will come off. Oh, so that's the case. Then don't you know how to wear gloves? Li Sun was really thinking about how to cook. You can wear gloves, but you need to practice for a long time. Otherwise, it won't feel good. If you want your hands to be soft, remember to soak more milk. Zhang Xiaobao finished roasting the prawns and blew on them a few times before peeling them. The peeled meat naturally went into Wang Wan's open mouth. Just as Li Sun nodded, he suddenly reacted. What do you mean by not being able to write and draw well? You want to use a flying knife, but you're afraid that you won't be able to do it properly, right? Same. Don't always talk about such violent things. We're civilized people. Don't eat that burnt meat. Take the fins from the side. After roasting the beef once, you can eat slowly. I'll take the fins away and show you how to roast the whole fish. That thing's tail can easily be roasted off if you're not careful. Zhang Xiaobao put his prawn into his mouth and chewed it together with the shell. Night finally came. Some of the people who worked during the day went home, while others went into the tent to sleep. They didn't chat, so as not to delay tomorrow's work. Numerous torches were lit. Another group of people came here and began to continue their work during the day. There were people working 24 hours non-stop, hoping to finish the work as soon as possible. Zhang Xiaobao finally persuaded Li Sun to go to sleep. He and Wang Wan lay in the tent, but they couldn't fall asleep. The two of them opened the skylight above the tent and covered the blanket tightly, only revealing a pair of eyes to look at the stars. It seems that there won't be rain tomorrow. The sky is clear. Wang Wan looked at the stars and said, "That's not necessarily true. Maybe there will be a rain shower. If it were in Shanghai, who dares to say whether there will be rain or not?" Zhang Xiaobao's mind was not on the weather, but his ears were listening to the sound of mosquitoes flying around and said, "What's the situation in Shanghai like now? I hate mosquitoes. If they want to sting, hurry up and do it. They're buzzing and annoying." Wang Wan tidied up the blanket to avoid being bitten by mosquitoes. "I haven't seen it yet. It should still be connected to here. It said that it was later separated because of the movement of the Earth's crust. It's useless to go there now. It's impossible to develop foreign trade there. The only advantage is to build a port so that other warships won't dare to go there easily." Chapter 717. In the night, some people really couldn't sleep. It had nothing to do with mosquitoes or the sound of people working at the construction site. They just couldn't sleep because they were too excited. The invited Daoist chaser Dream had finally arrived. He had even gone over to take a look during the day, but he couldn't sleep at night no matter what. Feng Changgong had no choice but to find the registrar and the county magistrate. They sat in the yard and looked at the moon in the sky and drank. Fill it up and taste the cooked prawns. The Taoist chaser Dream just told me that tomorrow the people will go home and hide. They won't dare to come out again. Feng Changgong was in a good mood. He poured wine for the registrar and the county magistrate and said to them while looking at the moon, "I wish you a great success. Cheers." The registrar was good at talking. He raised the cup and drank the wine. The county magistrate also drank a cup and said, "Sir, this time no one will dare to look down on you. But I'm worried that if you offend Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, will their parents come? If you hurt the younger one, the older one won't be able to stand it." He said that he was worried, but the meaning in his words couldn't be more clear. He didn't take Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan seriously. Feng Changgong liked to hear this kind of words. He laughed and said, "If the older one comes, I won't be afraid. He can't control me, right? It's good to let people know that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan are not so powerful. Besides, the people behind us are not bad." "That's right. Sir, how can you be bad?" The registrar still flattered, but there was no joy in his eyes. Instead, there was infinite worry. The other two people didn't notice him. They clinked their cups back and forth and talked loudly under the stars and moon. After drinking until midnight, the three of them parted ways and went back to their respective homes. After walking for a while, the registrar stopped when he saw that there was no one around. He turned around and walked in another direction. After crossing 2 streets, he came to a courtyard and knocked on the door of the courtyard, making 3 long knocks and 2 short knocks. After a while, the door was pulled open from the inside. He hurriedly dashed in. The person who opened the door stuck his head out and looked at both sides before he felt relieved and closed the door again. The registrar entered the courtyard but did not go into the house. Instead, he stood there and said to the person who closed the door, "Tell the higher-ups that our eyes have been set out. We will see the results in a month." "Understood." The person who had just opened the door replied and didn't say anything else. The registrar went around a room and disappeared into the woodshed behind it. The person who spoke just now went into the room and said to another person, "Leave immediately and tell the higher-ups that the county magistrate of Kai County, Feng Changgong, is going to attack the Zhang family and the Wang family. Tell them to pay attention to the news in the capital and don't miss any important information. The Zhang family and the Wang family have the ability to make money, and they don't lack the ability to scheme against others in business. They also have people who can fight. This time, we will see how the other party is in the officialdom so that we can make a plan. As long as they are here, we can't do what we want." The person in the room was wrapped in black cloth from head to toe, leaving only a pair of eyes exposed. When he heard the words of the person who came in, he immediately jumped out of the open window and hid in the half-moon night. After about 15 minutes, the registrar appeared in another room. He covered the hole that was exposed when he came out with a wooden board and sprinkled a layer of soil on it. Then he walked out of the door in front of him. No one else showed up in the room. When he walked out of the room, there was a 2-story building in front of him. From time to time, he could hear the laughter of a woman and the drunken words of a man. After passing through the 2-story building, the registrar appeared on the side of a street. He looked back at the signboard with the words "Ro Chun Pavilion" written on it and left with a strange smile. But as he walked, he felt that something was wrong. He looked back at the empty street and the worry in his eyes intensified. He muttered, "Should I really not do this? Will I be exposed? My superiors have told me not to do anything in the place where the Zhang family and the Wang family live. Why don't I feel anything? Yes, I don't feel anything." After saying this, the registrar continued to walk forward, but he felt very uncomfortable in his chest. After turning a corner, two figures suddenly appeared in front of him, which scared him. "Let me touch it." "Oh, what's so soft?" "Let me touch it again." "You are so bad." "We are still outside. Why don't you have a good relationship with me?" "Is it really not good?" "Then why are you walking with your legs between your legs?" "You still say that." "It's all your fault." Until the sound of a man and a woman flirting was heard, the registrar who was hiding in the shadow of a house was relieved. He cursed the adulterous couple in his heart. After the two people passed by, he flashed out of the shadow and continued to walk back. He staggered twice and began to talk. "I'm not drunk. You don't need to help me. Why are you wearing so little clothes? Come, let me see. I told you not to help me, but you still want to help me." As they spoke, they walked, completely oblivious to the fact that the adulterous pair had changed their appearance. The woman headed for the soft spring pavilion, while the man took out a set of gray clothes from his bosom. He took off his light blue clothes and changed into them. Then, he took out an item and threw it on the roof. He then kicked the wall twice and leaped up. He jumped from house to house, occasionally stopping to hide in the shadow on the other side of the roof. He followed the registrar who had just left while talking drunkenly. After he went up the roof, two people appeared where he had just been standing. One of them had a dog. Their clothes were gray and black. Even the dog's body had the same pattern. The person without the dog changed into a set of light yellow clothes and tied a xiaoyao scarf around his head before walking in the direction of the soft spring pavilion. The other person let go of the dog and walked around to another street. The dog stuck to the corner of the house by itself and walked along the road in front of him without making a sound. The next morning, Zhang Xiaobao opened his eyes and looked at Wang Wan, who was hugging him like a fish. He sighed and muttered, "No wonder I dreamed last night that the police caught me. They were worried that I would run away, so they handcuffed me so tightly. I knew it. Who could catch me? Who caught you? I'll help you untie them." Wang Wan was not awake yet. Perhaps she heard Zhang Xiaobao's voice and said something in her sleep. "Go to sleep. No one can catch me, let alone a broken handcuff. What's the use of twisting my arm to the back? The joint will come out. Why haven't the people of the first team come back yet? They are not as good as Huzi and the others." Zhang Xiaobao adjusted the blanket for Wang Wan. Seeing that it was just dawn, he went back to sleep. When Li Sun came to find the two of them, Wang Wan was complaining to Zhang Xiaobao that he did not make a sound after waking up. It would have been better if he had made some noise. She would have been able to wake up immediately. Zhang Xiaobao had a helpless expression on his face. He told Wang Wan that they should indeed live separately. Otherwise, their vigilance would disappear. Li Sun had just woken up and had not washed his face. He heard half of the conversation and thought that they were talking about him. He explained, "Although I was in the tent next to yours last night, I didn't hear anything. There was no movement at all." "Thank you." Zhang Xiaobao patted Li Sun's shoulder and walked out. "Hurry up and wash up. What can you hear? No one is a good person," Wang Wan said and also went out. Li Sun stood there and muttered, "I'm telling the truth. I really didn't hear anything. Why do we have to live separately? Young face, young face, young face." When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were about to eat, a guard came over and said to the two, "Young master, young lady, there is something wrong with the registrar. Number 105 and number 106 did not come back. I think they went with someone. There is something wrong with another place. Continue." Zhang Xiaobao wanted to train others this time. Otherwise, it would have been better if he went out alone. He did not comment and just left these two words and went to eat. Li Sun just finished eating with Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Feng Changgong arrived. This time, there were not so many officials. There were only 12 Yamen runners, including him, the registrar, the county magistrate, and a Taoist priest. Zhang Xiaobao looked at them and found that Feng Changgong had dark circles under his eyes. The registrar also had dark circles under his eyes. The Taoist priest, who he saw with a telescope yesterday, had a red face. Feng Changgong had dark circles under his eyes, but he seemed to be in good spirits. As soon as he arrived, he bowed to Li Sun and greeted Zhang Xiaobao. Registrar Zhang, how is your cultivation? Come, let me introduce you. This is the dream-chasing Taoist priest from Dragon Tiger Mountain. Taoist priest, this is the registrar of Buxin County, Zhang Xiaobao. Although he is young, he is very capable. Dragon Tiger Mountain. There is a place like this now. Dream-chasing Taoist priest is indeed immortal. Zhang Xiaobao asked in puzzlement and praised the Taoist priest. Little friend, you are wrong. What is immortal and what is bone? Dream-chasing Taoist priest swung his horsetail whisk and pulled it over. Wang Wan looked at them from the side and did not say anything. She turned her head to the side and thought, you still want to play this game with Xiao Bao. Xiao Bao is going to trick you to death. Zhang Xiaobao really wanted to play with the other party, but considering that he had to deal with an important place in the construction site today, he did not have time to do it. He could only smile and pull Wang Wan to another place. When he left, he didn't forget to give Li Sun a meaningful glance. Li Sun didn't make any response. Instead, she ignored the Taoist priest and turned to leave. No one knew where she went. Feng Changgong, who felt that he was treated coldly, had an ugly expression. After a while, he smiled at dream-chasing Taoist priest and said, Taoist priest, please follow me. Of the 3 people just now, one is Prince Tonghen, and the other 2 are the registrar and deputy magistrate of Buxin County. Although they are young, they are very capable. I heard that no one has ever been able to gain an advantage over them. Dream-chasing Taoist priest had actually heard about them from Feng Changgong yesterday. When he heard it again today, he still had the same smile. Wei Wei nodded and began to walk around the riverside openly. When he reached the construction site, he flipped his hand and suddenly a compass appeared. He looked around with the compass and shook his head from time to time. If it was in the past, the people would have gathered around to watch. However, no one in the construction site paid attention to him. They were all busy building houses in anticipation of a better life in the future. Seeing the reaction of the people, Feng Changgong felt even more uncomfortable. The registrar next to him still had a flattering smile on his face. The deputy magistrate also frowned. Dream-chasing Taoist priest was still indifferent. He continued to walk along the riverside. After about 100 steps, he suddenly stopped and looked at the compass and said, This is not right. This is not right. This is not right. Men are in charge of yang while women are in charge of concealment. Why is this place so feminine when the sun shines directly? Disaster, this is a disaster. Disaster. What disaster? Taoist priest, can you say it clearly? Before Feng Changgong could say anything, the registrar asked loudly. He seemed very nervous and looked around from time to time. Unfortunately, no one was listening to them at this time, because the sound of building houses was louder than their voices. There were 2 houses that needed beams. A group of people were shouting and carrying the wood. Their voices were both loud and soft, like a mix of harmonies, covering their voices. Dream-chasing Taoist looked at Feng Changgong helplessly and said with a sigh, This may not be a place to preach Taoism. It's better to travel on the cloud. His meaning was very clear. I'm busy here for nothing. You can't do this either. No one is looking at you at all. You'd better give me the money I deserve and I'll continue to wander around elsewhere. Feng Changgong was also very uncomfortable. He was more puzzled. When he came yesterday, there were people greeting him. Why was there no sound today? What was the difference? How could he know? When he came here yesterday and went back and forth, he greeted people. However, when he had dinner in the evening, he found that those who greeted him worked slower than others. Just a little slower. The person in charge here didn't need Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan to tell him personally. He was already unhappy. When he went to sleep at night, he went to each tent and told them that they should work hard when it was time to work. Otherwise, they shouldn't be paid and shouldn't eat the food provided by others. This morning, he told the same thing to the people who went home last night. Therefore, no one cared about other things today. They were busy with their own work so that they could be worthy of the wages and good food. Seeing that no one responded, Feng Changgong looked at the registrar and the county magistrate anxiously, meaning that they should think of a way. The registrar, who was usually very smart, responded to the county magistrate's look with a blank face at this time. He meant, "Why are you looking at me? I am not the person in charge of the site." Just when Feng Changgong had an impulse to strangle the registrar, the county magistrate took action. He went straight to the workplace in front of them and said to those who still didn't look at him, "The county magistrate has brought a powerful Taoist master here. Do you want to see him? Hurry up. The Taoist master chasing Dream is very powerful." After shouting, he waited for people to come over and ask, but this time, he was destined to fail. The people working had clearly heard him, but no one moved a muscle. It was not that they didn't want to be seen by the Taoist master, but they were afraid that they would delay the work and be driven away by others. Then they wouldn't be paid. It's over, they're all finished. They don't even know how big of a disaster they've provoked. If there were other fellow Taoists here, we might have been able to help them. What a pity that so many lives have been lost. The Taoist master chasing Dream felt that he was treated coldly, so his words were not polite and were very vicious. Anyway, those who heard it felt uncomfortable. You're right. I'll ask the bailiffs to bring them here and let them know where they're going to end up. Someone, go and call everyone here. Since the first plan failed, Feng Changgong came up with another one. This time, it was tougher. Just as the Yamen runners were about to brace themselves and call for her, a voice suddenly sounded. "Oh. Fellow cultivator, may I know where you are from? Are you from Dragon Tiger Mountain? I heard that there are many fake Taoist priests there." "Oh, my Taoist name is Rumming." Feng Changgong and the others looked in the direction of the voice and saw a Taoist priest standing there. This Taoist priest looked more like a Taoist priest than the Taoist master chasing Dream. His white hair was tied up in a bun with a wooden hairpin. He was wearing linen clothes and a pair of shoes with 1,000-layer soles. In his hand was a horsetail whisk with the same silvery white hair. 3 strands of whiskers hung down for more than 2 feet. His face was full of wrinkles, but his complexion was rosy. 2 long white eyebrows went down his cheeks and stopped at the line at the tip of his nose. He looked at them with slightly opened eyes, as if he had seen through everything in the world of mortals. His eyes were filled with pity, helplessness, and wisdom. This Taoist priest is used to traveling. So you are fellow Taoist Rumming. This Taoist priest's Taoist name is Dream Chasing Dream. We are fated. May I know where you are from? Dream Chasing Dream wanted to say that he was from Mount Longhu, but when he heard that the people from Mount Longhu were all liars, he could only change his words and ask about the other party's identity. The new Taoist priest narrowed his eyes and said with a sigh, "This Taoist priest is from Mount Longhu." Unfortunately, recently, many people have been using the name of the mountain to cheat everywhere. This Taoist priest is ashamed to speak. Speaking of which, this Taoist priest knows all the 108 Taoist priests of Mount Longhu. However, this Taoist priest has never seen many of them who claim to be from Mount Longhu. Do you think they are shameless? Rumming seemed to be very sad. After saying that, he sighed again. With a flip of his hand, a compass appeared. In the other hand, Wei Wei moved. The horsetail whisk suddenly disappeared and turned into a pen. Then, a cloud of green smoke rose. With a boom, many talismans appeared on Rumming's body. This time, all the workers stopped and looked at the new Taoist in a daze. It was really too amazing. Even Feng Changgong and the others opened their eyes wide and had a look of disbelief. Dream Chasing Dream moved his hand, but he couldn't figure out how the other party changed. It was too fake for such a big horsetail whisk to disappear just like that. He didn't think that the other party was a real immortal. He always felt that the other party had a special method. If there weren't so many people watching, he really wanted to go over and ask for advice. If he learned it, wouldn't he have a way to make money again? Just as everyone was in a daze, Dream Chasing Dream held the compass in his hand and walked in a small circle twice. Then, he said, "That's not right. This is not an ordinary place." When Dream Chasing Dream heard his words, he was happy and quickly said, "That's right." This Taoist priest also found that this place is not right, but no one listened to me. This Taoist priest thinks that this place belongs to the southwest. It is the time to offend the celestial wolf. After saying that, he looked at the other party. He thought that the other party was like him and wanted to cheat some money. In this way, the other party would naturally cooperate with him. Feng Changgong also had a look of hope on his face. He hoped that the other party could also scare others. This was a powerful move. Everyone else had stopped, but as long as he said a word, he might be able to make them leave. The registrar at the side couldn't figure it out. He looked around in confusion and was about to move forward to see what was going on. Dream Chasing Dream suddenly shook his head and said, "That's not right. Fellow Taoist, it seems that your skills are not good enough, but you can't mislead the world. This place did not offend the celestial wolf, but a fish spirit who wanted to cause trouble here. Do you think so?" As Dream Chasing Dream spoke, he had already walked to the riverside. His eyes looked at the flowing water with a very serious expression. The hearts of the surrounding people also rose. They felt that this new Taoist priest was much more powerful than the previous one. At the very least, the changes back and forth were not something that the previous Taoist priest could compare to. "Xiao Bao, I think that Li Sun is really burying his talent by being a duke. I told him once yesterday and asked him to contact him. I didn't expect him to perform so well today. He should be shooting movies. He's clearly a natural actor." Wang Wan, who was hiding elsewhere, whispered to Zhang Xiaobao. After saying that, she covered her mouth and laughed. Zhang Xiaobao also had a look of admiration on his face. He also didn't expect Li Sun to be able to play his role so well. That day, when Li Sun had just arrived, he had thought that he was suitable to be a businessman. Today, it seemed that his real profession was definitely not a businessman. Of course, he was not an actor either. He was a swindler. When he thought of this, he said, "I think I have a successor. No, I have to nurture him well and nurture him into a powerful person." You really think that being a swindler is an honor? You even want to trick Li Sun. Look, Li Sun is about to perform. He's going to scare them to death. Wang Wan leaned her head on Zhang Xiaobao's shoulder and said with a smile. This time, Taoist Dream Dreamer really had a new move. With a move of his hand, the front of the pen that looked like a judge's pen opened up like a lotus flower. He muttered something and suddenly stomped his feet together. After landing, he shook his head and sighed. This fish has already become a spirit. I wonder if fellow Daoist Dream Chaser can subdue it. Subdue my ass. Where did this fish spirit come from? There's no such thing. He just refuted me, and now he wants me to cooperate. Dream on. Daoist Dream Chaser thought and shook his head. Fellow Daoist, you must have seen wrongly. Where did this fish spirit come from? He clearly offended the celestial wolf. Feng Changgong also echoed, that's right. He offended the celestial wolf. Daoist, you'd better hurry up and do other things. Feng Changgong wanted to chase him away. However, Daoist Dream Chaser let out a long sigh and didn't explain. He spun the judge's pen in his hand twice and pointed at the river. Hey, demon, hurry up and die. As soon as his voice fell, a burst of smoke came out of the judge's pen in his hand. Without waiting for the smoke to dissipate, a pillar of water suddenly rose up from the river with a bang. With a splash, a 5-foot-long fish fell to the ground. Chapter 7:18. Seeing the big fish fall to the ground, Daoist Rumming let out a long sigh and looked to the side. Seeing that there was no second fish, he said to Daoist Rumming and Daoist Feng Changgong, this fish is a spirit from the Wei River. It has done evil many times. I tracked it for many days and finally caught it. Good, good, good. Amitba. When the group of people who were originally shocked heard Daoist Rumeng's words, they were surprised at the same time. Without waiting for them to ask, Rumeng said, oh, I once caught this fish spirit with a fellow monk. I didn't expect that the fellow monk would pass away in meditation. I carry his thoughts. After saying that, Rumeng's eyes looked into the distance. He looked like he was really reminiscing. Looks like I still need to train. It's easy to make mistakes at critical moments, said Zhang Xiaobao, who was hiding behind a temporary house. I think it's not bad. At least you reacted quickly and pulled out a monk friend. Where's the other fish? Aren't there two? Wang Wan looked interested, but she realized that one fish was missing. Who knows? The explosion missed. I don't know where it flew to. Your fixed-point explosion doesn't work. Do you think it's an underwater missile? It's good enough that it can be blown out. It's better than you. Don't always blame others. This flying prawn is for you. Use the stove to stick it to me tonight. Wang Wan did not think that it was her fault at all. She picked up a prawn that was implicated and stuffed it into Zhang Xiaobao's hand. Zhang Xiaobao looked at the unlucky prawn whose tail was blown off. One isn't enough for you. Then catch a few more. What have you been thinking about all day? Do you still need to ask me about such a small matter? Wang Wan turned her head away. Zhang Xiaobao nodded and shook his head. He nudged Wang Wan. Look at me. Let me ask you, have you been feeling a little nervous recently? Are there many things that don't go your way? Why? Wang Wan asked. Nothing, I'm just asking. Tonight, we won't eat the food from the construction site. Since little root vegetable is out, I'll pack a box for you to eat. It's just a bite, no soup. Drink some mung bean water. As for the dishes, we'll just eat some garlic and cucumber. We won't bring Li Sun, just the two of us. Zhang Xiaobao stared at Wang Wan's eyes for a while. He didn't find anything, so he suggested what to eat for dinner. Wang Wan was stunned for a moment before she said, Xiaobao, thank you. I really haven't been feeling well recently. I think I've been too nourished. I'm going to do that soon. I used to be 12 years old. Don't look at me. What's there to look at? You're not allowed to have any ideas on me. Oh, I'll hit someone else. Zhang Xiaobao finally understood what was going on. No wonder. You dare. Don't put vinegar in cucumbers. I know. Add a blanket tonight and ask someone to send some things over. The things I made for others can finally be used on you. Zhang Xiaobao said understandingly. Wang Wan twisted her body twice. Don't say that. It's not certain yet. Look at Li Sun. It's good to be with you here. It saves a lot of trouble. Me too. At this time, Ru Meng was still baring his fangs and brandishing his claws at the poor fish that had been killed by the explosion. No one could hear what he was muttering. They only saw him walking around the fish and talking. Such a big fish. Xiao Bao and Cuckoo are really good friends. I'll eat you tonight. I don't know if the taste will be bad after being fried. With Xiao Bao here, I'm not afraid. That was what Ru Meng muttered. When he thought about how to eat for dinner, he stopped, looked at the sky, and said, poor common people. Well, I'll take this fish spirit and use kerosene to comfort all living beings. Someone immediately came over and took the fish away. It didn't matter how to eat it. It could be cooked in kerosene or boiled in water. At this time, Ru Meng was already frightened. He didn't expect that a fish would really fly out and come out of the water with a boom. Just now, he thought that Ru Meng was like him, lying. He didn't expect him to be so capable. Could it be that the Taoist of Mount Longhu was so powerful? Where was Mount Longhu? Feng Changgong's face was pale. He was very worried that Taoist Ru Meng would expose his lie. At that time, not only would the common people object, but if Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan found out, they would impeach him. Worried in his heart, he gathered his courage and approached Ru Meng. He reached out and pulled Ru Meng's sleeve and said, Master Ru Meng, is it safe here? Do you want to let Master Ru Meng take a look? As he spoke, Feng Changgong flipped his hand and gave Ru Meng a hard thing. If it were an ordinary person, they might not know what it was, but Ru Meng knew. He estimated the size and weight of it and the feeling when he touched it. He immediately understood that it was a piece of gold that weighed 4 taels. He didn't know where Feng Changgong got it from. If he really calculated, it was worth about 30 strings of coins. At the thought of this, Ru Meng's expression changed. His impression of Feng Changgong became worse. In less than a breath, Ru Meng said indifferently, I only care about catching the fish spirit. Since the fish spirit is gone, I don't need to stay here any longer. I'm going to swim. After saying that, Ru Meng took a deep breath and calmed down. He rushed toward Ru River and jumped into it with a splash. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared. It seemed that he didn't want the fish spirit that was going to be boiled in kerosene. When the common people saw that Master Ru Meng was no longer on the water, they exclaimed. They were also shocked. It was too magical. Just when everyone thought that Ru Meng had left, a long and distant voice came from an unknown place. I'm Ru Meng. The fish spirit has been eliminated. You can ask fellow Taoist Ru Meng about other things. Fellow Taoist Ru Meng has great merits. He has the ability to determine the sun and the moon. The 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors are all in his heart. Feng Changgong, who invited him here, has done a great service. His voice drifted for a long time before dispersing. Everyone looked at dream-chasing Taoist priest in a different light. On the other side, Li Sun found Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan wet. He complained, didn't you say there were 2 fish? Why is there only 1? I don't care. Anyway, I have to braise it at night. Get me some ginger water. I'm so cold. The river in early summer is not warm. Zhang Xiaobao replied unhappily, you haven't finished what I asked you to say. Why are you in such a hurry? You made me use the bamboo tube to replenish it. Otherwise, it would have been difficult for the plan to succeed. What did he give you? Gold. Come here. He can bring such a big piece of gold at any time. I couldn't get it at home. I have to teach him a lesson. Make it into something to calm him down. Li Sun wiped his hair with a towel and handed the gold to Zhang Xiaobao. At the same time, he was very emotional. Before he met Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, he would never give such a big piece of gold to others casually. He was so poor. Now that he was with the two of them, no one took this gold seriously. Although it was worth more than 30 strings of coins, it was not a matter of 30 strings of coins. Ordinary people could not exchange it for such a big piece of gold even if they had 50 strings of coins, unless they bought jewelry and melted it at home. However, they could not take it out casually as money. If you want to calm down, drink some cinnabar and have a special medicinal diet. Do you think gold is so delicious? If you eat until you die, do you want to make a small box of vegetables at night? If you want, I'll get someone to send it to you. Cuckoo is not feeling well. She won't eat with you. Zhang Xiaobao weighed the gold twice and did not return it to Li Sun. Li Sun nodded, eat. What about lunch? I decided not to eat. I'll wait for you to make a box at night. What other dishes do you have? Tell me first. I'll think about it. It's a beautiful day. No, just a cucumber. That's fine. As long as it's made by you, it won't be bad. You guys stay here. I'm going to change my clothes. It's so fashionable. Li Sun was very happy. He did not care about what he ate. He only cared about who made it. The food made by Xiao Bao would definitely not be bad. It seemed that he had made the right choice to come to Xinsai County. After Li Sun left, Wang Wan took the gold and looked at Zhang Xiaobao with sparkling eyes. I couldn't tell. You really don't show off. Learn how to bark like a rabbit. I finally know. No wonder people couldn't catch you when you were in the city. Just put on a disguise and change your voice. Who would be able to guess who you are? Zhang Xiaobao was very cooperative. He mimicked a rabbit and squeaked twice, saying, it's a life-saving skill. In order to learn this, I gave you 4 caddies of real bean cakes and dry tobacco. It's not easy to bring them into prison. That old man is fond of them. If he doesn't give me cigarettes, I can't even call him grandpa. What do you want this gold for? So the most powerful place is prison. You can learn all kinds of good things. I want to use this gold to make something good that women like, a chain. Wang Wan was happy to discover another ability of Zhang Xiaobao. Xiaobao was powerful, so she was powerful. She held the gold and said happily. Zhang Xiaobao looked at Wang Wan in surprise. Is it the kind of chain that women use? You can't make it right now. Xiaobao, I'm so disappointed in you. You can't learn anything good in prison. Separate. You must live separately. Wang Wan immediately understood what Zhang Xiaobao was referring to. While speaking, she pulled Zhang Xiaobao and wanted to stuff the gold into his mouth. Not too far away, Feng Changgong was still proud of his method of giving the gold. He felt that he had really seen an immortal. He just didn't know why an immortal needed so much money. Looking at the Taoist priest Zhui Meng next to him, he was more confident in his heart. With an immortal's word, wouldn't it be what it said? Zhui Meng was very regretful at this moment. He regretted that he didn't get closer to Ru Meng just now and lost an opportunity to become an immortal. No matter how much money he cheated, it couldn't be compared to immortality. He sighed with emotion. Money was a worldly possession, but he didn't know that the immortal in his heart had earned so much money. Taoist priest Zhui Meng, why don't you show me what's good and bad here? Feng Changgong said to Zhui Meng when he saw that one had left and there was still one that he invited. He remembered that he had to do what he had to do. Zhui Meng, who felt that he had lost the opportunity to become an immortal, replied, "Okay, let this poor priest take a look." After speaking, he began to take the compass and spin it again. The people who had not dispersed were not in a hurry to go back to work. They just stared at him. After spinning for a while, Zhui Meng, who had taken the money, stopped and sighed. "Ah. There is still a great omen here. It's not easy to move the earth, especially the water." Chapter 719. As soon as Daoist Dream Chasing finished his sentence, Feng Changgong revealed a victorious smile. He, who had been blinded by greed, did not know the trouble he was about to face. The county magistrate was slightly worried. He was afraid that when the people stopped working, Prince Tang would be angry. When that happened, even an immortal would not be able to protect them. The registrar stood there and thought about many things. He felt that things were not as simple as they appeared to be. Dream Chasing, who could not become an immortal, began to work. He continued, "All the craftsmen here must stop. Otherwise, they will incur the wrath of the heavens and burn themselves." They had wanted to watch and listen more, but when the curious commoners heard his words, they were unhappy. Even the very capable Daoist Ru Meng, who had come in a hurry and suddenly disappeared, said that he was powerful. This workshop was not a simple construction problem. It was related to their future lives. Feng Changgong finally felt that something was wrong. He walked in front of Dream Chasing and said, "Just talk about the diversion of water. Don't mention the workshop." Dream Chasing nodded to show that he understood. He said, "If you want to move the soil, I have a method that can solve all disasters. However, it can only solve the soil and not the water. It's better not to touch the water." When the people who were working heard that, they would not touch the water in the future. Building the workshop was not a big deal. They all turned back to continue their work. This was because the person in charge had come over to reprimand them. He did not say anything else but asked the people who were working, "Are you worthy of the wages you receive? Are you worthy of the food you eat?" The people who still knew filial piety, loyalty, and propriety went back to work. This made Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan feel very emotional. This is the true foundation of a nation. When the moon is full, it will waver. When prosperity is prosperous, it will be lonely. A moment of glory is not important to the entire nation. What is important is who can preserve the nation's heritage. America was so powerful, but didn't it gradually withdraw from the stage 100 years ago? Science and technology could be created by humans, and many results could be obtained in a short period of time. However, civilization was definitely not that simple. A country without a cultural foundation would always have to pay a corresponding price in the process of accumulation. Whether it was disasters or wars, what should exist would still exist. This is because they have their own souls. So what if they rule the world for 100 years? When the sun rises, the sun sets. When the material standards are similar, it is a competition of the depth of history. Wang Wan sighed as she watched the simple people go back to work. Zhang Xiaobao did not make any comments about this. He held Wang Wan's hand and said, "Let's go back. We still don't know what kind of person Zhang Shuo will send. I hope they don't send an idiot. Otherwise, we will have to waste a lot of effort." It was night and the moon was high in the sky. The people who took turns to work lit their torches and continued to work. Feng Changgong also made an exception and stayed behind. He was not willing to eat with the workers, and Li Sun was reluctant to share the food made by Zhang Xiaobao with others. He could only ask people to look for a small shop nearby and order them to make a more sumptuous dish. Sitting by the river, they felt the gentle night breeze, which was cool and had a trace of chill. Not far from him, Li Sun sat alone by the torches. While eating, he complained vaguely that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had gone to live a life of two people. Until he could not eat anymore, his eyes were still looking at the remaining 2 boxes on the plate. He reluctantly stuffed a piece of cucumber into his stomach and looked in the direction of Feng Changgong. He said regretfully to himself, "What a pity. I invited him for nothing. I guess he won't have a chance to travel to Shuzhou again. It is so easy to find a Taoist priest to join the heaven and earth. You are lucky that you are not beheaded." Thinking of this, Li Sun could feel how ruthless Zhang Xiaobao's methods were. Originally, Feng Changgong only wanted to find a Taoist priest to help, but in the end, he disguised himself as a Taoist priest. If he stayed behind after leaving, he would have changed the meaning, saying that Feng Changgong could be the emperor if he wanted. How could this be good? Feng Changgong was too much. Just let him lead the river. Why did he have to stop it? Now, he had lost his life. Feng Changgong really did not think about this matter. He was thinking about how to get more benefits in the process of turning Xinsai County from Zhong County to Shangshan County. The first credit was given to Commandery Prince Tang, and the people in the county gate could only distribute the rest of the credit. Which one should he assign to himself? Thinking about this matter, Feng Changgong glanced at the county magistrate who was staring blankly at the flowing river and asked, "County Magistrate Ma, which one of the 4 places do you think is good? Planting sesame seeds and fragrant oil workshop, or raising poultry or livestock? The fertilizer is probably not valuable. You can choose one." The county magistrate was still thinking about what happened during the day. Ru Meng came and left in a hurry. How come he had never heard of such a great ability? Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan came to lead the river, but why did they not do anything? Only Commandery Prince Tang and came to build a few workshops. Did he really intend to wait until the local people wanted to lead the river? Hearing the county magistrate's voice, the county magistrate looked at the changing moonlight in the water and replied, "Sir, I think it's better to let Baoxin County lead the river away. Since there are workshops in our county, there will be many people willing to come. The number of people will be enough to be promoted to Shangshan County. We don't have to worry about people running to Baoxin County. I asked you which place to choose, not whether to lead the river or not. What if it can be promoted to Shangshan County?" The 2 of them dared to teach me a lesson in front of my face. How can I take this lying down? I don't believe that they dare to kill me directly, and I don't believe that they can bribe the people in the court to deal with me, a 7th-rank official. If they really do that, how will the people see the Zhang family and Wang family? Don't tell me that it's necessary to kill people because of political disagreements. Feng Changgong said eloquently. The county magistrate really thought so. He didn't think that the other party would take action because of political differences. It was because there were many things in Kai County that the other party couldn't stand. For example, the other party clearly proposed a good idea to improve the lives of the people, but the county magistrate just agreed. For example, that day at the riverside, the Yamen runner tried to buy the fish by force with very little money. The way the Zhang family and Wang family acted always gave people the impression that they loved the people like their own children. What they couldn't stand the most was other officials who didn't sincerely work for the people. They could say that they were meddling in other people's business to gain a good reputation, or that they were removing obstacles in the development of Baoxin County. In the end, they wouldn't be kind easily. The county magistrate wanted to retreat. The more Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't react fiercely, the more uncertain he was. It wasn't good to be too calm. So he kindly advised, "Sir, why don't you discuss with Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan and ask them what they should do with the original idea? After all, it can make the lives of the people in the county better, and it can also give you some political achievements." There's no need to mention this anymore. Political achievements. Don't tell me you don't have enough political achievements now. No matter how much you have, you won't be able to become a provincial governor. According to my estimation, after the two of us turn Aksai and Kai into a county, we can go to the provincial government to work after paying a tax. Tomorrow, I'll write a letter to the capital and ask around. Do you still have enough money? Feng Changgong didn't want to continue discussing the matter that troubled him, so he wanted to ask his backer. The county magistrate had a pained expression on his face. Yes, I've prepared 1,000 strings of coins and a gift worth 500 strings of coins. The account has just been settled, but it hasn't been completely corrected yet. I'm worried that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan will write a petition to impeach and the imperial court will send people to check the account. They're all dead people. Can the imperial court's people come down the next day? Quickly correct it. If it really can't be done, let people immediately open up a new piece of land and use the new land to clear the old account. Find your own people to occupy the land and cooperate with Prince Tang and to plant soybeans and sesame seeds. Let them send the money up first. Don't feel bad about the small amount of money. If you give them 1,000 strings of coins, you'll get 10,000 strings of coins in return. If you weren't willing to spend the money back then, would you and I have run to Aksai and Kai County to become officials? When you and I came here, there were more than 3,000 people in Aksai and Kai County. Now, only a few years have passed, and you can be promoted again. If you don't give money, do you think you can be promoted so quickly? Feng Changgong began to educate the county magistrate. County Magistrate Ma knew that he couldn't quit even if he wanted to. When he first started his career, he wanted to let his family have a better life. With a little bit of money, he could buy more land and didn't have to worry about food, clothing, and housing. Who knew that he would have to take out the money he earned again and again? All the money was used to send gifts. He was promoted, but he didn't keep the money. There were too many things on his plate and he couldn't get rid of them. He could only hope that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, who he offended this time, wouldn't find out. Seeing that the county magistrate didn't say anything and just lowered his head, Feng Changgong said again, "Before you leave, make another sum of money. This time, you don't have to give it away. See how Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan do business. Learn from them when you go elsewhere. In the future, it won't be easy to make money when you work for others." In fact, County Magistrate Ma had been secretly complaining for a long time. If he didn't give the money to others at the beginning and let his family do business, he would have a lot of money now. In the place where he was an official, he couldn't lose money under his care. Hearing that he didn't have to take money from the account in the future, he was relieved. He only hoped to leave as soon as possible. It was uncomfortable to be too close to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. The construction of the construction site was in full swing. Children who couldn't sleep also came out to see the scene. Children liked places where it was still bright at night. By the way, they could drink some hot soup specially prepared for the workers instead of boiling water. If anyone was thirsty, they could come and drink a bowl of it. Even if the egg flours in the soup had been broken into pieces and the vegetables were mostly wild vegetables, children still liked to drink it because they couldn't not add oil and salt when boiling the soup. There was also spicy ginger. Children ate the soup like snacks. To children, they could drink the soup, see the busy adults, and see the fire swaying in the wind. For children, this was happiness, simple and unforgettable. The rumbling sound of the horses' hooves covered the children's laughter. More than a dozen children stopped and looked in the direction of the sound of the horses' hooves. Their eyes were full of curiosity, but they were not afraid at all. As the sound of the horses' hooves was getting closer and closer, the first to react was Li Sun's guards. 100 people surrounded Li Sun, who was enjoying the night scenery. More people mounted their horses and picked up their weapons. They divided into 3 groups and opened up the distance. The first group of 100 people rode their horses slowly to meet the horses. The second group of 200 people separated into 2 groups and slowly rode their horses in circles, ready to charge. The third group stood still and waited for orders. Chapter 720. As the sound rang out, the other party's horses stopped one after another. They put on a defenseless appearance, allowing Li Sun's 100 cavalrymen at the front to approach. A very handsome person rushed out from the group. He was wearing a light yellow brocade robe and was riding a large red horse. He looked at Li Sun's 100 cavalrymen enviously and asked, "Where's my 5th brother?" "So it's the 6th Marquis. Young master has just finished dinner and is enjoying the fire by the river. 6th Marquis, please come this way." The leader of Li Sun's 100 cavalrymen looked at the person who came down and cupped his hands in salute. He pulled on the reins and led the way. "Follow behind. Don't disturb the people." The person on the horse ordered and urged his horse to follow behind the cavalryman. Li Sun was planning to stay a little longer and eat the other 2 boxes when his stomach was a little empty. There was a pile of charcoal beside him to heat up. Hearing the noise, he stood up and looked over. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan also came out with 100 crossbowmen gathered around them. They were originally going to help Li Sun's cavalrymen hold the line and shoot at the enemy's middle and rear, or wait for the cavalrymen to turn around and help suppress the enemy. It seemed that they were not going to be needed. "You 2 finished eating too?" "My 6th brother. I don't know how he found us, and I don't know what he's doing." When Li Sun saw Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, he made a puzzled expression. In fact, he wasn't afraid even if he didn't know who was coming. He had 600 cavalrymen, and Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had more than 200 people around them. With more than 100 people lying in ambush, with Wang Wan's leadership skills, even if the enemy had 10,000 people, they wouldn't be able to hurt him. Some of the 600 cavalrymen had once fought with Wang Wan in Tubo. "You know, Li Ji. He came here in the middle of the night," Zhang Xiaobao said as he looked at the people who were no longer working on the construction site. Instead, they were picking up various tools and preparing to provide support. "He probably misses me. I don't think he's short of money. Last time, during his birthday celebration, I gave him 10,000 strings of cash. He said that he used it to do business. Now he's also a county magistrate. Oh, he's also a consul in the army of Ciizhou, unless he loses money." Li Sun really didn't know why his younger brother, who was no longer his biological younger brother, was here. At this time, Li Yu had already arrived nearby on his horse. When he saw his brother, he jumped off his horse and almost fell. He happily went up to Li Sun and said, "5th brother, I haven't eaten yet. Is there anything to eat?" "Just 2 boxes. I'll make do with it." After saying that, he didn't stand on ceremony. He reached out and picked up a box that was only a little warm. He opened his mouth and ate it. He chewed hard a few times and stuffed the whole box into his mouth. He stretched his neck and swallowed it. Then, he poured the remaining half of the soup into his stomach. He picked up a cucumber and asked, "5th brother, where did you find this cook?" "It's delicious." "What's in the box?" "It has a faint spicy smell of scallions, but it's different from scallions. It's slightly better, a little earthy. It's fresh. Why don't you lend it to me for a while? It's cold. Wait first. I'll bring it to you later. Here, it's made by this one. Zhang Xiaobao. The one next to him is Wang Wan. If you can bring it back, let them make it for you every day." Li Sun also liked this younger brother very much. Unfortunately, he was only a younger brother in private. If he was in the capital or in public, he could only be a younger cousin. Who asked him to be adopted? Even though he was clearly related, he couldn't casually say that. Li Yu was still immersed in the delicious taste of the box. When he heard his brother's words, he didn't even think about it and said, Zhang Xiaobao, Wang Wan, right? You two come with me. How much do you want? As long as you can take out 10% of this official's family's wealth. Marquis Li, eat slowly. This official still has more in my tent. Marquis Li, do you want to dip it in sauce? With sweet sauce, it'll taste even better. When Zhang Xiaobao heard someone say that the food he made was delicious, he was also happy. He played along with Li Yu. Quickly bring it over. Good cooking. How much is 10% of your family's wealth? Li Yu picked up the other box. This time, he couldn't bear to eat it all directly. He took small bites and asked as he ate. Roughly 10% of my family's income is from the business between the clouds and the water. The turnover for the first half of this year hasn't been reported yet. We'll know in June. Marquis Li still has to wait for a while. Zhang Xiaobao really did drag Wang Wan to get the box for Li Yu. Li Sun's younger brother had arrived and hadn't eaten yet. They couldn't let him starve. Okay, let's go get it first. Fifth brother, I'll tell you a piece of good news. There's a big business in my county. People from the Chamber of Commerce have taken a fancy to a piece of land in my county. They say they want to occupy it and then develop it. But. Fifth brother, who were those two just now? Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Between the clouds and the water. Those two are Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Fifth brother, why didn't you tell me earlier? This is bad. Xiaobao, cuckoo, wait for me. I don't need you two to be my cooks. I really don't need you two. As Li Yu was talking, he suddenly realized something. He complained to his brother and wanted to catch up with Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Li Sun pulled Li Yu back and said helplessly, they went to get something for you to eat. Why are you in such a hurry to come here? They didn't even eat their fill. Fifth brother, the two of them personally cooked. I just said I wanted to buy them into the family, but they won't lower themselves to your level. Tonight's dinner was cooked by Xiaobao. Go on, how big is your business over there? Li Sun stopped Li Yu, who was about to follow him, and asked. Actually, it's not that big. Compared to you, fifth brother, it's not big enough. Last time, fifth brother gave me 10,000 strings of cash, and I used it all to do business. This time, I'm going to invest in it again. They said. Fifth brother, let's wait for Zhang Xiaobao to come back. I wanted to talk to you directly, but since he's here, why don't we listen together? Li Yu was about to talk about the business when he suddenly stopped. He was going to wait for Zhang Xiaobao to come over. Li Sun immediately knew what this younger brother meant. He said with some dissatisfaction, yes, if there's no one else, you come to me. If there's someone else, you come to me. You know how powerful Xiaobao is, right? No, I didn't mean that. Then I'll talk to you first, fifth brother. Li Yu quickly denied. Li Yu started talking, but he didn't talk about the business. He talked about something else. Fifth brother, I really admire you. This time, I brought 300 cavalry with me, but when faced with your 100 cavalry, I lost my momentum. The second echelon behind you that is preparing to charge hasn't come up yet. If they come up, even if I have 3,000 men, I won't be able to win. Fifth brother, tell me, how do you train your soldiers? They give off the feeling of being on the battlefield. The archers here are not bad either. Just now, I heard the faint sound of strings being pulled. My guard captain told me that just by hearing the sound, you can tell how powerful the archers are. They pull the strings continuously, but not hurriedly. They pull the strings in an orderly manner. He said that during war, the scariest thing to hear is this kind of sound, because in the next moment, you'll be covered by a neat rain of arrows. This kind of rain of arrows can form a formation. When he heard the praise, Li Sun was also happy. Wei Wei nodded. The ones rushing out in front are all soldiers who have fought against Tubo outside the pass. The archers are Wang Wan's guards. Even if you have 30,000 soldiers for fun and hunting, not to mention 3,000, even if I pass the command to Wang Wan, you can't do anything. Of course. Who doesn't know about Cuckoo? The Tubo people call her Demon Fiend, but we call her Ghost Fox in private. She moves like the wind and comes and goes without a trace. Fifth brother, what are you doing here? Li Yu flattered again. His eyes were fixed on the direction Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had left, and he asked about the situation at the construction site again. At this time, the people at the construction site had already gone back to work. Many people actually hoped that the enemy would come from another country. Of course, this kind of thinking was stupid. If the enemy could come here, how many places would have been penetrated by the enemy? They wanted to see how Wang Wan would lead the troops to kill the enemy until they threw away their armor. Seeing that the alarm was lifted, and it was said that the enemy was another member of the royal family. Knowing that the fight would not happen, they went back to their positions and did what they were supposed to do. I have a stake in the business of 4 workshops here, so I came to take a look. I haven't seen Xiaobao and Cuckoo for a long time. It's strange. What's the big business you mentioned just now? Li Sun didn't think that his younger brother would know the details, so he casually answered and asked again. Li Yu's eyes were still fixed on the direction Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had left. Hearing his brother's question, he responded and then asked again, Fifth brother, is the workshop here proposed by Zhang Xiaobao? I don't know if my Changning County can learn from it. Then you have to give me the map. Tell me what you have there. Can't all patterns be copied to other places? Is there a big business? Tell me specifically. Map? Yes, I have a few copies. I also know about the things there. Fifth brother, can you let me have a stake in the business here? I won't make trouble and just wait to collect the money. What do you think? Think about it in your own county. Once the business of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family is launched, they don't need other people to have a stake in it, unless they ask others before doing it. It's very risky. Anyone who hesitates will lose the opportunity. Next time, when they have a business, I'll tell you and you can take out the money. Li Sun finally understood. His younger brother didn't want to talk about the big business with him alone and kept interrupting. Then there was no need to ask. After all, his business skills were not as good as Zhang Xiaobao's. Even his own younger brother didn't trust him. Li Yu nodded happily, Fifth brother, don't worry. When the time comes, I won't ask if it can make money or how. I'll just take the money. When the time comes, I'll take whatever they give me. They're back, they're back. Why did they take so long? At this time, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan appeared outside the tent. Zhang Xiaobao was holding a plate with something steaming on it. He came closer and put down the plate. There were a few boxes, a bowl of soup, 2 small pickles, and a little sweet sauce. He said to Li Yu, It's just done. It's crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. 6 Marquis, try it. We'll talk about the matter of entering the manor later. Chapter 721. What kind of business? Zhang Xiaobao was puzzled. How big was the business that Li Yu needed to come to his brother? Was he short of money? Did he need more than 100,000 strings of cash or hundreds of thousands of strings of cash? Brother Wu, do you have any tea? You can have some tea first. I'll tell you as I eat. And the 300 people I brought haven't eaten yet. Li Yu was indeed hungry. He hadn't eaten at noon and had rushed all the way here. After eating 2 boxes, he found that he was even hungrier and wanted to eat first. Zhang Xiaobao nodded to the people from the inner courtyard beside him, and the people from the inner courtyard went to prepare the food. In the middle of the night, the workers still had supper, so the people who had been invited were in charge of cooking. The 3 of them didn't drink tea. Zhang Xiaobao held a glass of juice, Li Sun held a glass of wine, and Wang Wan sat and listened with a cup of hot milk in her hand. Seeing that his subordinates were arranged, Li Yu ate a box and felt much better. Hot food was better than cold food. He said to the 3 of them, "When I was the county magistrate of Changning County, a chamber of commerce called Qianzhi Chamber of Commerce suddenly came. They were willing to pay 50,000 strings of cash to do business in the county. However, they didn't have land and didn't want to buy it. They said that they didn't have much money now. They told me that they planned to build a large-scale pottery distribution center in the county. At the same time, they could use the local iron ore to study new pottery processing techniques. As long as they did it, they could increase the tax of Changning County by 50% a year later and solve the problem of jobs for the 300 people who couldn't find jobs. 2 years later, they could double the tax of Changning County through their vigorous publicity and market operation. 3 years later, through the form of a joint venture. Through the form of a joint venture, you can widely distribute sales outlets and carry out some kind of brand effect. You can double the tax revenue of Changning County again and form a long-term, effective and reasonable utilization model. Every local family can go upstairs and benefit from it, right?" Before Li Yu finished, Wang Wan added. She then said to Zhang Xiaobao, "Classic, it's really classic. I suddenly have a feeling of transcending time and space." Zhang Xiaobao didn't say anything and waited for Li Yu to continue. Li Meng's mouth was half open as he looked at Wang Wan in shock. With an expression of disbelief, he asked, "How did you know?" "I know a lot, so this is nothing. The other party's level can be said to be at the beginner's level. It's not easy." 6 Marquis, please continue. Wang Wan and Wei Wei smiled. She raised the cup to her mouth and sipped. Li Yu also took a sip of the soup. "Something like that. That's what they meant. They said that their people were very good at organizing and could sell the worthless things at a high price. They told me not to worry because the things in Changning were valuable and could only be better, not worse. I thought it was good, so I prepared to let them do the business and was willing to invest 10,000 strings of cash. I had already earned 12,000 strings of cash from the money fifth brother gave me. Since it was a business in the capital, I didn't have to worry about it anymore. But they also said that it wasn't enough because they needed a very large site for research, production, mining, and storage for materials. They said that if they wanted to make money quickly, they needed to invest 100,000 strings of cash in the early stage. They asked me to find a way to pull some people in. As long as they had 100,000 strings of cash, they could start the business. Moreover, they said that the people who invested money could make a profit in 1 year and get their capital back in 2 years. Their place couldn't be moved, so I didn't have to worry about them cheating people. But there was one thing. They didn't have enough money to buy the land, so they hoped to find someone who could cooperate with them or directly invest the land in the government office. Nowadays, people talk about shares. The land shares account for 20% of the shares, which is 25,000 strings of cash. According to the price, they must have such a large land. I'm short of money. No matter what, I can't gather 50,000 strings of cash. So, I'm looking for you to discuss and see if you can invest some money. Just 30,000 strings of cash will do. I'll just gather the rest. At the same time, I want to ask fifth brother if this deal is possible. After saying this, Li Yu looked at Zhang Xiaobao. He didn't look at his fifth brother because he felt that Zhang Xiaobao's words were more credible. Although 50,000 strings of cash was a lot for him, it was too easy for his fifth brother and Zhang Xiaobao. They could even take out so much money to build a canal. Zhang Xiaobao was too lazy to talk about this kind of thing. He glanced at Wang Wan, indicating for Wang Wan to continue. Wang Wan put down the cup and said to Li Yu, "Eat your food. I'll tell you slowly. Listen carefully. First, I want to ask you if there is iron in Changning County. Can it be used to make pottery?" "Yes, there is a lot of iron and clay." "Yes, there is a kiln there." Li Yu, who took a bite of the box, said with food in his mouth. "How much land can you buy with 25,000 strings of cash?" Wang Wan asked again. "The land there is expensive now. It's close to the capital. You can buy 5,000 mu for upper fields, 8,000 mu for middle fields, and even more for lower fields. It depends on the place. You can buy 20,000 mu in a bad place, but Changning County can't afford such a large land. It's not easy." Li Yu answered again. He felt that something was wrong. Otherwise, why would Wang Wan say this? Wang Wan nodded. "It's okay if you can't afford it. You can take as much as you can. Also, you can allow them to mine the local mineral resources and other things. Then, the amount they mine will be included in the county's investment. However, the county can't use this money as dividends unless it's the profit from selling auxiliary products. Only then will the county have a part of it. When the county has enough money with resources, it can participate in the dividends of direct products again. Then, you won't be in a difficult position." "How do you know?" "That's what they told me. They also said that in this way, the people in the county can benefit from the labor in the early stage. However, they said that the county has to share part of the wages. Also, if they want to expand in the future, they will adjust the shares, which is the increase of shares after financing." "I don't quite understand." Li Yu felt that he made the right choice to come this time. If he didn't know that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan really came to Changning to do business, he would have thought that the Millennium Chamber of Commerce was sent by the two of them. It was amazing that they guessed it before he finished speaking. And the person who guessed it wasn't Zhang Xiaobao, who was the best, but Zhang Xiaobao's little wife, Wang Wan. According to the popular saying, this was called a non-professional's understanding of the professional field. If she could guess it, what would Zhang Xiaobao do? Thinking of this, Li Yu stopped eating and looked at Zhang Xiaobao, hoping that he could say something. Zhang Xiaobao said helplessly, "You can ask Cuckoo about this kind of simple thing. The so-called increase of shares after financing is that you put in a copper coin and I put in a copper coin. Not counting the management shares, which are paid separately, I suddenly put in 3 copper coins. Then, you will get 20% of the dividends from the original half. If I get 8 copper coins, you will get 10%. There are a lot of things in this, but what they mentioned is the simplest one. Normally, even if you really get 50,000 strings of cash, you can't get 60% of the shares. At that time, they will mention 2 points, one is the technology investment, and the other is the management investment. In the absence of a fair evaluation organization, the importance of technology needs to be observed through the reaction of the market. That is, the sales ratio between the products produced by the original technology and those produced by the new technology. But this is divided into short-term income and expenditure and long-term income and expenditure. There is a problem of market trends and saturation, so it is very difficult to judge. It is the same for management, especially in the area of sales and promotion. Normal sales channels and new sales channels can be compared. At this time, there is a problem, the problem of supervision. Without the management of various auxiliary departments, any surface profits can be changed by abnormal operation patterns. Therefore, the plan itself is full of loopholes. If they are kinder, Changning County can exist as a free raw material supply base in the future, but it can also provide new jobs for the people. You can't just send troops to kill them. Of course, you have to have the right to send troops and a reasonable excuse. After Zhang Xiaobao finished speaking, he sat there and drank his juice. Wang Wan looked calm, as if she already knew this. Li Yu and Li Sun were dumbfounded. They didn't understand. What a mess. They just wanted to make money. Why did so many things happen when shares were mentioned? It was too troublesome. Li Sun thought he had learned enough from Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Today, he found that he still had to learn. When he cooperated with Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan to do business, he didn't need to do so much. He just needed to invest some money, or he didn't even need to take any money. He just needed to help with the connections and government orders. Then he could wait to receive a lot of money. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't have anyone to help him improve technology, management, and sales. Now that he was in a different place and with different people, it was different. Thinking of this, Li Sun put down the wine glass in his hand and looked at Zhang Xiaobao. He said, "Xiaobao, your business with me, let's not talk about this. You don't check the accounts, and we don't plan to cheat you. Why are the rules so strict? It's just that the Six Marquee business is not easy. Who knows what the other party is thinking?" Zhang Xiaobao didn't let Li Sun continue. If he really counted, Li Sun had helped Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan a lot during their most difficult times. That kind of wealth was immeasurable. Therefore, it was not money, but friendship. Although Li Sun always wanted to take advantage of him, he and Wang Wan always tricked him. Li Yu also understood that the business in his county was a scam. Xiao Bao and Cuckoo knew the whole story. It seemed that they had known about this kind of scam for a long time, but they didn't want to use it. The more Li Yu thought about it, the angrier he became. It was not easy to get a business deal, but he was still tricked. Li Yu slammed the table. "Do you really think that my identity as a member of the Imperial clan is fake? Brother, lend me some cavalry. I'll kill my way back." As he spoke, Li Yu stood up with a belly full of anger. He wanted to rush back through the night. "Stop right there. Do you want to use your identity to manage economic matters? You're not an administrative person. That only shows that you are incompetent. Economic attacks must be solved with economic means. Unless you admit defeat, then you can use administrative means to intimidate and pressure with your identity." Xiao Bao. Seeing his brother act so impulsively, Li Sun was also angry. He scolded his brother and turned to Zhang Xiaobao. "Cooperation, 50,000 strings of cash. The Six Marquee will pay 10,000 strings of cash, Cuckoo and I will pay 20,000, and the other 20,000. Zhang Xiaobao agreed and looked back at Li Sun. "You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure."